Hello everyone, and welcome to the Saiyan What Ifs. So we are back with an interesting movie on what if Goku was the dragon god mentor of Naruto and Deku, the next generation's Goku x Android 21 x Tsunade x Ryukyu, Naruto x MHA x Dragon Ball. But before we start, I just want to remind you to please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if you enjoy my content. Let's start the story. Chapter 1. Worlds in Collision. The hyperbolic time chamber trembled. White void fractured with hairline cracks of electric blue as Son Goku's fist connected with nothing and everything simultaneously. Sweat cascaded down his bare torso, each droplet evaporating before reaching the infinite floor beneath him. 1 year inside, 1 day outside, the chamber's promise remained unchanged. But something else had shifted in the fabric of reality itself. Goku paused mid-punch, his enhanced senses detecting disturbances beyond the chamber's dimensional boundaries. Not just power levels fluctuating, something far more fundamental was unraveling. The air around him vibrated with unfamiliar frequencies, carrying whispers of worlds he'd never touched. "That's enough for today," he murmured, lowering his arms and allowing his ki to settle. The familiar warmth of Super Saiyan Blue receded, midnight black hair replacing the divine azure as his transformation released. He'd experienced many strange sensations throughout his battles and travels, but this disturbance felt different, almost as if reality itself had developed a fever. Reaching for his orange GI top, Goku dressed quickly and strode toward the chamber's entrance, massive doors groaning as they parted to release him back into the lookout's familiar surroundings. Dend awaited him, the young name. He and Guardian's expression tight with concern. "Goku, we have a situation. The Grand Zeno has requested your immediate presence." Goku's eyebrows rose. "Zeno? Did he say what for?" "Only that it concerns the stability of multiple universes, not just our own." Den's antennae twitched nervously. He mentioned something about barriers between worlds thinning in ways they shouldn't. Goku nodded, confirming his own suspicions. "I felt something strange while training. Like the chamber was trying to connect to places it shouldn't reach." "Then you must go immediately. Whis is waiting to transport you." The angular, blue-skinned attendant stood at the edge of the lookout, staff in hand. His usually playful demeanor had given way to something more solemn. "Ah, Goku, I'm afraid we have an unprecedented cosmic situation developing." Whis tapped his staff twice against the lookout's surface. "Lord Zeno is most concerned." Within moments, they materialized in the vast expanse of Zeno's Alice, a crystalline structure existing beyond conventional space and time. The childlike Omni King floated before them, both versions of himself staring intently at a complex three-dimensional projection hovering between their small hands. "Goku!" Both Zenos exclaimed in simultaneous delight upon seeing him, their earlier concern momentarily forgotten. Goku grinned and raised a hand in greeting. "Hey there. Den said you wanted to see me about something important." The Zenos, expressions sobered as they returned their attention to the projection, a swirling configuration of 12 distinct spheres representing the universes, with countless smaller bubbles nestled between them. "Look," said the first Zeno, pointing to places where several spheres had begun bleeding colors into each other. "Not supposed to touch," added the second Zeno with unusual gravity. Whis stepped forward, expanding the projection with a gesture. "What you're witnessing, Goku, is an unprecedented convergence of dimensional boundaries. Not just between our 12 universes, but between entirely separate realities that should have no connection whatsoever." Goku studied the projection, scratching his head. "Different realities? You mean like the time rings and alternate timelines?" "Far more complex," Whis explained. "These are worlds with fundamentally different laws of physics, places where ki might not exist as we understand it, where power manifests through entirely different systems." The Grand Minister appeared beside them, his perpetual smile unchanged despite the gravity of the situation. "We've identified 3 primary nexus points where these convergences are most pronounced. 3 worlds whose fundamental energies have begun resonating with each other in dangerous harmony." With a wave of his hand, the projection zoomed to highlight 3 distinct spheres, one glowing with familiar golden ki energy, another pulsing with swirling blue-green chakra, and a third emanating multicolored quirk energy. "Our world." Goku identified the first sphere immediately. "Indeed," confirmed the Grand Minister. and 2 others whose power systems have evolved to the point where dimensional boundaries have grown thin. Left unchecked, these worlds will eventually collapse into each other with catastrophic consequences. Zeno's small face scrunched in displeasure. Would make everything messy. Don't want messy universes. So what do you need me to do? Goku asked, already feeling the familiar excitement of a new challenge bubbling up inside him. The Grand Minister's expression remained placid. You've transcended normal mortal limitations, Goku. Your mastery of Ultra Instinct has elevated you to something approaching divinity. More importantly, your ki has become adaptable H to potentially interact with these foreign energy systems. We want Goku to fix it, declared the first Zeno. Make the world stay separate but stable, added the second. Whis tapped his staff against the floor. You'll need to travel to these other realities, identify key individuals whose energies are contributing to the resonance pattern, and establish harmony without allowing complete convergence. Goku's brow furrowed. I'm not sure I follow all the technical stuff, but it sounds like you want me to visit these other worlds and train people there. The Grand Minister nodded. In essence, yes. You'll serve as a dimensional anchor point, someone who can exist across these realities without destabilizing them further. You'll need to identify potential champions in each world who can help maintain the delicate balance once established. Champions, huh? Goku grinned, his warrior spirit kindling at the thought of meeting powerful fighters from other realities. That doesn't sound so bad. There's more, Whis interjected. These disturbances have already attracted the attention of entities who seek to exploit the weakening barriers for their own purposes. Some wish to collapse all realities into one they can dominate. Others seek to harvest the unique energies of different worlds. So I'll have to fight these guys too. Goku's grin widened. Now it's really getting interesting. The Grand Minister's eyes narrowed slightly. This isn't merely about combat, Son Goku. You'll need allies with knowledge beyond fighting skills. Scientific minds who understand dimensional physics. Healers who can mend the damage to reality itself. Strategic thinkers who can anticipate threats you cannot simply punch away. Goku's enthusiasm dimmed slightly. Oh, that sounds complicated. Which is why we've identified your first potential ally, Whis said, waving his staff to shift the projection. A new image appeared. A woman with pale skin, glasses, and long brown hair tied back in a ponytail. Dr. Android 21. Android. Goku blinked in surprise. Like 17 and 18, similar origins but far more advanced, explained Whis. She possesses one of the finest scientific minds on Earth and has already detected these dimensional anomalies through her research. More importantly, her partially cellular composition includes Saiyan DNA, making her uniquely capable of withstanding cross-dimensional travel. Her work on quantum entanglement and subspace field theory has already brought her dangerously close to discovering pathways between realities, the G, rather than impede her progress. We believe guiding it would be more productive. Goku studied the image with newfound interest. She doesn't look like an android. Her human appearance belies her true nature, Whis said. Much like your own unassuming form hides godlike power. The Xenos clapped their hands in unison. Goku will fix everything. Goku always makes things fun. I guess I don't have much choice, do I? Goku rubbed the back of his head, smiling despite the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. So I find this Android 21 first, then we figure out how to reach these other worlds. The Grand Minister nodded. She has already established a laboratory near West City where dimensional fluctuations are strongest. Begin there. We've arranged for certain intuitive leaps in her research that should facilitate your mission. Remember, Goku, Whis cautioned, this assignment requires discretion and diplomacy, not just strength. These worlds operate by different rules and values. Goku laughed. When have I ever not been diplomatic? Whis and the Grand Minister exchanged glances that spoke volumes. Just try not to challenge their strongest fighters immediately upon arrival, Whis sighed. Dimensional stability first, satisfying your battle curiosity second. I got it, Goku assured them, already mentally cataloging potential sparring partners from unknown worlds. So, when do I start? Immediately, the Grand Minister answered, tapping his staff against the crystalline floor. The convergence accelerates as we speak. Light enveloped Goku Zeno waved goodbye with childlike enthusiasm, and reality shifted around him. When the light faded, he stood outside a sleek, dome-shaped building nestled against mountain cliffs, a modified capsule. Corp logo emblazoned across its entrance. Subtle energy flowed around the structure, not quite ki, not quite anything else, pulsing with the same unnatural rhythm he'd felt in the hyperbolic time chamber. "Guess this is the place," he murmured, approaching the entrance with uncharacteristic caution. Security scanners hummed as he neared the door, and a mechanical voice addressed him. "Unidentified visitor detected. Please state your business." Before Goku could respond, the door slid open, revealing the woman from the projection. In person, Android 21 projected an aura of contained power Ben. Ether scientific demeanor, familiar in its partial Saiyan signature yet alien in its synthetic components. "Son Goku," she stated rather than asked, adjusting her glasses as calculating eyes assessed him. "I've been expecting someone, though I admit I didn't anticipate the arrival of Earth's strongest defender. My sensors detected your energy signature from 3 kilometers away, remarkable control for someone of your power level." Goku blinked in surprise. "You were expecting me, not you specifically." She stepped aside, gesturing him inside. But when reality itself begins unraveling at the quantum level, one expects either catastrophe or intervention. "Please, come in. I suspect we have much to discuss." The laboratory interior hummed with advanced technology. Holographic displays mapped energy fluctuations across the planet, highlighting hotspots where reality seemed thinnest. Android 21 moved with precise efficiency between workstations, her lab coat swirling around her slender form. "For the past 6 months, I've been tracking quantum anomalies that defy conventional physics," she explained, bringing up complex mathematical models with a gesture. Subspace rifts appearing momentarily before collapsing. Energy signatures that match no known element or particle. And most concerning, she highlighted a pulsing waveform pattern, harmonic resonances between our dimension and at least 2 others. Goku studied the displays with more interest than he typically showed scientific presentations. "Those patterns, they match what Zeno showed me." Android 21's eyebrows rose fractionally. "You've spoken with the Omni King about this phenomenon. That confirms my hypothesis regarding divine awareness of the situation. He's worried about worlds collapsing into each other," Goku explained, simplifying the complex dimensional crisis. "Says I need to travel to these other places and find people who can help stabilize things." "Cross-dimensional travel," Android 21 murmured, eyes lighting with scientific curiosity. "Theoretically possible but practically insurmountable without." Her voice trailed off as she rushed to another console, fingers flying across holographic interfaces. Of course, the resonance patterns themselves could provide the necessary quantum entanglement for targeted transportation. Goku watched her work, admiring the passionate intensity that reminded him of Bulma during a breakthrough moment. "So, you can build something to get us there." "Us?" She paused, glancing at him over her shoulder. "Yeah, Zeno said I'd need help someone who understands all this science stuff." "That's you, right?" Something flickered across her expression, surprise mingled with what might have been pleasure. "I see. Yes, I suppose that makes logical sense. My research would benefit from direct observation, and my partially synthetic physiology should withstand interdimensional transit better than a normal human." She turned back to her work, but not before Goku caught the slight flush coloring her pale cheeks. "I'll need approximately 48 hours to complete the necessary calculations and construct a portable dimensional anchor. We'll need something that allows return transit without destabilizing the multiverse further." Goku's stomach growled loudly, breaking the scientific atmosphere. He laughed, rubbing the back of his head. "Any chance we could get some food while you work? Interdimensional stuff makes me hungry." Android 21's lips curved into a small smile. "Everything makes you hungry, son Goku. Your metabol, IC requirements are well documented in scientific literature." She pressed a button on her workstation. "The cafeteria is fully stocked. Help yourself while I work." "Great." Goku brightened immediately. "And maybe after eating, you could show me what you've figured out about these other worlds. I should probably know something about where we're going." "A reasonable request," she nodded, turning back to her calculations. "Though I warn you, my knowledge is largely theoretical at this point. Several hours and an astonishing amount of food later, Goku sat across from Android 21 as she explained her findings. Marveling at how someone so slender could match his appetite plate for plate. Based on energy signatures, I've identified the primary convergence point as a reality where power manifests through something called chakra, a blend of physical and spiritual energy not unlike ki, but with distinct properties allowing for elemental manipulation and reality-altering techniques. She displayed images of swirling blue-green energy forming into various patterns. Their civilization appears to be structured around martial villages of warriors called shinobi, or ninja. Goku leaned forward, intrigued. Fighting villages. That sounds amazing. Are they strong? Their upper power tiers demonstrate capabilities that would classify as S-class threats in our world, she confirmed. Though their energy system operates under different constraints than Ki and the other world, less clear, she admitted, bringing up fragmented data. A society where approximately 80% of the population manifests unique abilities called quirks, genetic mutations providing superhuman capabilities. Their culture has formalized superheroism into a professional occupation with government oversight. Goku frowned slightly. Heroes with government rules. Sounds complicated. Indeed, their power system appears more biologically integrated than either ki or chakra. She adjusted her glasses. Both worlds have recently experienced significant power escalations that may be contributing to the dimensional hem flashed red, interrupting their discussion. Android 21 spun toward it, eyes widening at the readings. Energy spike in Sector 7, the strongest convergence fluctuation yet. Goku closed his eyes, extending his senses beyond normal perception. I feel it, like a thin spot between worlds. My calculations suggested we had days before potential breach, she murmured, recalibrating her equipment. Something's accelerating the process. Or someone, Goku suggested, eyes narrowing. Zeno mentioned entities trying to exploit these weakening barriers. Android 21 worked frantically, holograms swirling around her. The convergence point is stabilizing, forming a sustained bridge rather than collapsing. This shouldn't be possible without external manipulation. Where is it? Goku asked, already gathering his ki in preparation. Mount Paozu region. Near your home, she replied, grabbing a sleek metallic device from her workbench. This prototype tracker should help locate the exact coordinates. Goku placed his hand on her shoulder. I can get us there faster. Hold on. Before she could protest, he placed 2 fingers to his forehead, and instant transmission whisked them from the laboratory to a familiar forest clearing, now crackling with otherworldly energy. The air shimmered with unstable light, trees bending at impossible angles around a growing tear in reality. Fascinating, Android 21 whispered, device in hand recording data. A true eye, interdimensional aperture forming spontaneously along quantum stress lines. Look, Goku pointed as the tear widened, revealing glimpses of another world, mountains unlike Earth's, structures built into cliff faces. And a massive stone monument carved with stern faces overlooking a village. The shinobi world, Android 21 confirmed, comparing readings to her theoretical models. The convergence is nearly complete, a temporary stable pathway forming between dimensions. The tear suddenly pulsed, expanding dramatically as something, or someone, forced their way through from the other side. A cloaked figure emerged, hovering above the ground with eyes that glowed with unnatural purple light. Behind them, shadowy forms gathered at the dimensional threshold, waiting. At last, the figure intoned, voice resonating with power. The path is opened. The harvest may begin. Goku stepped forward, placing himself between the intruder and Android 21. I don't know who you are or what this harvest is. But I can't let you damage our worlds. The figure turned slowly, assessing Goku with glowing eyes. The Saiyan warrior, your presence was anticipated, if inconvenient. Your world's key energy will be the cornerstone of my ascension. Yeah, I've heard similar speeches before, Goku replied, settling into his fighting stance. They never end well for the speaker. The intruder raised a hand. Purple energy swirling around long fingers. You misunderstand your position in this equation, Saiyan. I am not merely taking energy, I am merging realities to create perfect harmony under my guidance. Sorry, but Zeno's pretty clear about keeping these worlds separate, Goku countered, his own ki rising in response to the threat. Golden light flickered around him as he tapped into Super Saiyan power without fully transforming. How about you go back where you came from, and we pretend this didn't happen? The figure laughed, a hollow, echoing sound. Naive creature. The process has already begun. Even now, my agents enter your world while others secure the third reality. The dimensional barriers grow thinner with each passing moment. Android 21 stepped forward, device scanning the dimensional tier. He's right, Goku. This aperture is expanding exponentially. Additional breaches are forming worldwide. Then I guess we do this the hard way, Goku decided, golden aura flaring fully around him as he transformed into a Super Saiyan, hair standing upright in brilliant gold. Last chance to leave peacefully. The intruder responded by launching a blast of purple energy that Goku deflected with a swipe of his hand. The redirected energy crashed into nearby trees, disintegrating them into quantum particles rather than burning them. Molecular deconstruction, Android 21 observed clinically despite the danger. His energy breaks down matter at the subatomic level. Goku nodded. Stay back. This might get intense. He launched forward with blinding speed, appearing before the intruder with fist drawn back. The punch connected with a barrier of shimmering purple energy that cracked but held against Saiyan's strength. Impressive resistance, the intruder acknowledged, counter-attacking with a barrage of energy spears that Goku dodged and weaved between. But ultimately futile. The dimensional tear pulsed again, widening further as more shadowy figures pressed against the boundary. The intruder raised both hands, channeling power into the rift. Come, my harbingers, claim this realm. Goku's eyes narrowed as he assessed the escalating threat. A single opponent he could handle easily. But an army pouring through from another dimension complicated matters. Drawing deeper into his power reserves, he ascended to Super Saiyan Blue, divine ki radiating from his transformed state. I need to close that portal, he called to Android 21. Any ideas? She analyzed readings from her device, mind calculating possibilities at superhuman speed. The aperture requires continuous energy input to remain stable. Disrupt the power source, and the doorway closes. Goku finished, focusing on the intruder's energy signature. Got it. With god-like speed, Goku appeared behind the intruder, striking precisely at energy points flowing into the dimensional tier. The cloaked figure howled in frustration as their connection wavered, the portal fluctuating in response. Insolent monkey. The intruder spun, face contorting with rage beneath their hood. You understand nothing of cosmic harmony. I understand plenty about harmony, Goku countered, pressing H's advantage with a combination of strikes that forced his opponent away from the portal. And whatever you're doing isn't it. As they battled across the clearing, Android 21 approached the destabilizing rift, instruments extended. The aperture's quantum cohesion is failing. It should collapse within minutes without external power. The shadowy figures beyond the portal grew frantic, pressing against the thinning barrier with increasing desperation. One managed to force an arm through, bearing a metal bracer inscribed with strange symbols, before being pulled back by the portal's contraction. Goku landed a devastating blow that sent the intruder crashing through several trees. Before they could recover, he gathered ki between his palms. Kamehameha. The brilliant blue beam struck the cloaked figure directly, overwhelming their protective barrier and sending them hurtling back toward the destabilizing portal. With a final howl of defiance, the intruder was sucked back through the dimensional tear as it collapsed upon itself with a thunderous implosion of energy. Silence fell over the forest clearing, broken only by the gentle hum of Android 21's instruments as she collected final readings. Portal closed. Dimensional integrity restoring to previous levels, she reported, studying her device. Though not completely healed, the barrier between worlds remains dangerously thin. Goku released his transformation, hair returning to its natural black as he exhaled deeply. That guy was stronger than he looked. And he mentioned agents already entering our world. Along with securing a third reality, presumably the Hero Society world, Android 21 noted, tucking her device away. This confirms external manipulation of the dimensional convergence. Someone is deliberately accelerating the process for their own purposes. Goku folded his arms, expression uncharacteristically serious. Then we need to move faster than planned. How soon can you finish that dimensional travel thing? With this new data, I can refine my calculations significantly 4 hours instead of 48. Her eyes gleamed with scientific determination. Though I recommend we investigate potential incursions here before departing. Agreed. Goku nodded. But I don't think that guy was working alone. Whoever's behind this has people in all 3 worlds. Android 21 studied him with newfound respect. Your strategic assessment is sound. We should. A new energy spike interrupted her, both turning toward the lingering distortion where the portal had been. Though closed, the dimensional fabric remained weakened, shimmering with residual energy. Another breach? Goku asked, readying himself. No. Android 21 checked her readings. More like an echo. The dimensional barrier is thin enough here that we're receiving energy impressions from the other side. The air shimmered, projecting ghostly images of the world beyond, the ninja village they'd glimpsed earlier, now under attack. Shadowy figures matching those they'd seen at the portal wreaked havoc through streets while defenders rallied to protect civilians. They're attacking that world too, Goku realized, watching. As buildings crumbled under energy blasts similar to what the cloaked figure had used. We need to get there now. The transport device isn't ready, Android 21 protested. Attempting dimensional travel without proper stabilization could. People are dying while we wait. Goku cut her off, watching as a particularly large explosion engulfed a section of the village. I've traveled between dimensions before. If that spot is thin enough, I might be able to push through with instant transmission. Android 21's expression turned grave. The risk of molecular destabilization is extreme. Even our Saiyan physiology might not survive unprotected transit. Then come with me, he suggested, surprising her. You said your partially synthetic body could handle interdimensional travel better than a normal human. Between your science and my key control, we might make it work. She hesitated, brilliant mind calculating probabilities. The chance of successful transit without my completed device is approximately 64.8%. Survival upon arrival increases to 79.3% with my assistance stabilizing your key flow during transit. I've faced worse odds, Goku grinned, offering his hand. What do you say, partner? Ready for some interdimensional travel? Android 21 studied his outstretched hand, conflicting programming and emotions playing across her features. Finally, scientific curiosity and perhaps something more won out. She placed her slender hand in his calloused palm. Your recklessness is highly illogical, she stated, adjusting her glasses with her free hand. Yet strangely compelling. I'll need to maintain physical contact throughout transit to regulate quantum fluctuations around our molecular structures. No problem, Goku replied, drawing her closer until she was pressed against his side. His arm wrapped securely around her waist. Just hold on tight and help me focus on that village we saw. A faint blush colored her pale cheeks at the close contact, but her voice remained steady. Calculating optimal energy frequencies now. We'll need to harmonize our respective energies, your divine key and my synthetic life force, to create a resonance pattern matching the target dimension. Goku closed his eyes, focusing on the flickering images of the village under attack. 2 fingers pressed to his forehead as he gathered ki with his free arms still holding Android 21 firmly against him. Ready? He asked. She nodded, one hand clutching his GI while the other manipulated a small device emitting stabilizing frequencies. Transit window opening in 3, 2, 1. Goku's instant transmission activated, enhanced by Android 21's technology and the thin dimensional barrier. Reality twisted around them, not the instantaneous jump he was accustomed to, but a stretching, pulling sensation as they forced their way between worlds. Colors blurred, energy patterns shattered and reformed, and both felt their very molecules straining against universal constants that sought to deny their passage. For what seemed like eternity compressed into seconds, they existed nowhere and everywhere simultaneously. Android 21's scientific instruments sparked and failed dimensional pressures they were never designed to withstand. Only her iron control and Goku's instinctive key manipulation prevented both from disintegrating into component atoms scattered across multiple realities. Then, with a thunderous crack of displaced air, they materialized in the midst of chaos, a village of strange architecture under siege from forces that shimmered with the same purple energy as the cloaked figure they'd confronted. Goku stumbled forward, disoriented from the difficult transit, while Android 21 clutched at him for stability. Around them, buildings burned with otherworldly flames that consumed matter too quickly to be natural fire. Civilians fled through streets while defenders, shinobi in various uniforms, engaged the shadowy attackers with techniques that manipulated elements and reality itself. "We made it," Goku breathed, senses adjusting to the foreign energy patterns saturating this world. Not ki as he understood it, but something adjacent, chakra, flow. Wing through all living things in blue-green currents his enhanced perception could almost see. Dimensional transit successful, Android 21 confirmed, running quick diagnostics on herself before examining Goku. "Though not without cost, my equipment is largely non-functional, and we've experienced approximately 8.7% cellular degradation. Nothing life-threatening, but we'll need time to recover before attempting return transit." Goku nodded, attention already shifting to the battle raging around them. "Looks like we arrived just in time for the fight." Nearby, a particularly fierce confrontation unfolded as a young man with spiky blonde hair and distinctive facial markings faced off against three of the shadowy attackers. His techniques impressed even Goku, creating multiple copies of himself, forming swirling energy spheres in his palms, and moving with speed that would challenge many Z fighters. "That guy's strong," Goku observed appreciatively. "And his energy feels special somehow." Android 21 analyzed the blonde fighter with clinical interest. His power signature matches theoretical models of this world's primary energy harmonics. "He may be one of the champions," the Omni King mentioned. Before Goku could respond, one of the shadowy attackers noticed their arrival, turning with glowing purple eyes to assess the interdimensional travelers. "New variables detected," it intoned in a voice like grinding stone. "Unknown energy signature. Priority target acquired." Three more shadows disengaged from nearby battles, converging on Goku and Android 21 with frightening coordination. Their forms seemed to waver between solid and gaseous, weapons materializing from their very substance. "Looks like we've been noticed," Goku remarked, settling into his fighting NCE with a smile that had terrified gods and mortals alike. "Stay behind me, 21. I'm quite capable of defending myself," she replied coolly, dropping into her own combat stance. "My cellular R composition includes combat data from multiple warriors, including yourself." The shadows attacked simultaneously, moving with unnatural fluidity. Goku met the first with a precisely timed counter that sent it crashing through a nearby wall. The second and third circled warily, assessing this new threat with cold calculation. Android 21 faced her own attacker, analyzing its movement patterns E4 striking with perfect efficiency, a fighting style that combined elements of multiple martial arts with machine precision. Her pale hand glowed with energy as she struck, dispersing the shadows. Formed temporarily before it reconstituted itself a few meters away. "Conventional attacks disrupt but don't destroy them," she reported, adjusting her strategy. "They appear to be energy constructs rather than biologic audit." Expanding his awareness to track all enemies simultaneously. "Then we hit them with enough power they can't put themselves back together." He flared into Super Saiyan, golden aura illuminating the battlefield and drawing surprised gasps from nearby shinobi. With increased speed and power, he launched a series of devastating combinations that scattered one shadow's essence too widely for reformation. The blonde shinobi who'd been fighting nearby paused momentarily, blue eyes widening at the display of unfamiliar power. Seizing the opening, his remaining opponent struck K with a purple energy blade that would have impaled him if not for Goku's instantaneous intervention. "Watch your back," Goku advised, having instant transmission between the shinobi and his attacker. Catching the shadow's blade between two fingers before shattering it with a pulse of ki. "These guys don't fight fair." The young man stared in shock, clearly trying to process the golden-haired stranger who'd moved faster than even his trained eyes could follow. "Who? What are you?" "Long story," Goku replied, dispatching the shadow with a ki-enhanced punch that dissolved its form completely. "The short version is, I'm here to help." More shadows converged on their position, seemingly drawn to Goku's distinctive energy signature. Android 21 rejoined him, lab coat torn but otherwise unharmed from her own confrontations. "They're targeting you specifically," she observed. Your energy must represent a significant threat to their objectives. The blonde shinobi created dozens of COPs that engaged the approaching shadows, buying them a moment to talk. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, he introduced himself, eyes darting between Goku's golden hair and Android 21's unusual appearance. And you're definitely not from around here. Quote, Son Goku, he replied with a friendly nod despite the chaos. And this is Android 21. You're right, we're from another world altogether. Naruto's expressio N shifted from suspicion to determination. Another world, huh, well, whoever sent these shadow freaks is attacking my village, so I don't really care where the help comes from. A massive explosion rocked the village center, drawing their attention to where a large building with the kanji for fire had partially collapsed. Naruto's face hardened with concern. The Hokage Tower, Grandma Tsunade is there. Without waiting for response, he leapt toward the destruction with superhuman speed. Goku glanced at Android 21. Hokage, village leader, based on my limited research, she supplied. Likely a priority target if these attacks follow logical patterns. Then that's where we need to be, Goku decided, gathering his ki. Ready for another ride, Android 21 nodded, stepping closer to allow him to wrap an arm around her waist again. With practiced ease, Goku's instant transmission carried them across the village to materialize atop rubble where the tower had stood. The scene was nay of determined defense. A blonde woman with remarkable strength stood at the center of the destruction, fists glowing with chakra as she battled multiple shadows simultaneously. Despite bleeding from several wounds, her attacks shattered the ground and pulverized enemies with each impact. Nearby, a dark-haired woman clutching a small pig directed medical personnel evacuating injured from the collapse. Impressive, Android 21 remarked, observing the blonde fighter's techniques. Her cellular regeneration rate exceeds human norms by approximately 340%. Naruto arrived moments later, immediately creating more clones to assist in the defense. Grandma Tsunade, are you all right? Stop calling me grandma in front of enemies. The woman snapped, delivering a punch that reduced a shadow to wisps of purple smoke. And I'm fine. Worry about securing the village archives. Her attention shifted to the newcomers, hazel eyes narrowing at Goku's golden aura. More unknown entities. This day just keeps getting better. They're on our side, Naruto called, his clones forming swirling energy spheres, Rasengans, that tore through shadow ranks. At least, I think they are. Goku stepped forward, ki flaring brighter. We're here to help, and to figure out who's behind these attacks. They're targeting your world and ours. Tsunade didn't have time to question further as the largest shadow Yi-Ti materialized before them, a towering figure whose purple eyes burned with malevolent intelligence unlike its more drone-like companions. The Nine Tails Jinchuriki and the Slug Princess together, it rumbled, voice echoing unnaturally. Along with interdimensional interlopers. How efficient. Whoever you are, your attack on Konoha ends now, Tsunade declared, chakra visibly gathering around her fists and the diamond mark on her forehead glowing with stored power. The shadow entity laughed, a sound like breaking glass. This is merely the beginning. My master comes to unite all worlds under one perfect vision. Your energies will serve a greater purpose. Yeah, we've heard that before, Goku interjected, stepping forward. Didn't work out for that guy either. The entity turned its attention fully to Goku. Purple eyes flaring. The Saiyan God, your presence was anticipated. My master will be pleased when I deliver your essence. You're welcome to try, Goku replied, power building around him. But fair warning, I'm a lot stronger than I look. As if in response to his challenge, the entity expanded dramatically, absorbing nearby shadows into its mass until it towered over the ruined Hokage Tower. Arms sprouted from its amorphous form, each wielding weapons of condensed purple energy. I am Oblivion's voice, it announced, voice reverberating through the village. First harbinger of unity. This world's resistance ends today. Goku assessed the transformed threat, sensing power levels far exceeding the smaller shadows. This might be fun after all, he remarked, cracking his knuckles. Ready, Naruto. Tsunade. The Hokage shot him a look that mixed irritation with grudging respect. I don't know who you are, stranger, but if you're fighting for Konoha, stay out of my way and try to keep up. Naruto grinned, forming a cross-shaped hand sign that multiplied his presence exponentially. Let's show this harbinger guy what happens when you mess with Konoha. Android 21 analyzed the entity's energy patterns with scientific precision. Its power derives from dimensional disruption, essentially feeding on the weakened barriers between worlds. Conventional attacks may prove ineffective. Then we hit it with unconventional attacks, Goku suggested, powering up further as blue lightning began crackling around his golden aura, the telltale sign of Super Saiyan 2. Let me try something first. Before anyone could respond, Goku launched skyward, gathering ki between his palms as he ascended. Ka, me, ha, me. The harbinger's many eyes tracked him, multiple arms raising to launch countering energy blasts. Foolish Saiyan, your power means nothing against. Ha. The brilliant blue beam of concentrated ki erupted from Goku's hands, striking the entity with force that shook the very foundation of the village. The harbinger's form distorted under the assault, purple essence scattering before beginning to reconstitute. Remarkable recovery rate, Android 21 observed, but its molecular cohesion decreased by approximately 27% after impact. Tsunade watched with wide eyes, momentarily stunned by the display of raw power unlike any jutsu she'd witnessed. Recovering quickly, she turned to Naruto. Whatever these strangers are, we use their distraction. You know what to do. Naruto nodded, his clones forming a perimeter while the original closed his eyes in concentration. Orange pigmentation appeared around his eyelids as nature energy flowed into him, entering Sage mode to enhance his already formidable abilities. The harbinger continued reforming, now focusing multiple energy weapons on Goku as he descended. Your energy will be harvested, Saiyan. Resistance merely provides more data. You talk too much, Goku remarked, dodgy. Ing energy blasts with fluid grace that belied his tremendous speed. All you bad guys do. Less talking, more fighting. He engaged the entity directly, fists and feet striking with precision against its amorphous form. Where he connected, the purple substance destabilized temporarily before flowing back together. Android 21 moved to Tsunade's side, analyzing the diamond mark on her forehead with obvious scientific interest. Your energy storage system is fascinating. A cellular-level chakra concentration technique. Tsunade spared her a suspicious glance. Who exactly are you people, NWH? Why should I trust you in the middle of an attack on my village? A reasonable question with a complicated answer, Android 21 replied calmly. The simplified version is that 3 worlds, yours, ours, and another, are being deliberately pushed toward catastrophic convergence. We came to prevent that and identify those responsible. Before Tsunade could respond, Naruto rejoined them, eyes now yellow. W with horizontal pupils, the mark of perfect Sage mode. Whatever they are, they're crazy strong. That golden-haired guy's energy feels nothing like chakra. It's called ki, Android 21 explained. Our world's fundamental energy system. Just as your world operates on chakra. The harbinger suddenly disengaged from Goku, multiple arms weaving complex patterns as the air around it distorted. Enough games. Dimensional harvest. Reality fractured around them as the entity tore open small rifts throughout the battlefield, each pulsing with the same purple energy. From these openings, tendrils extended to grab nearby shinobi, dragging several screaming victims partially through before Naruto's clones could intervene. It's extracting their chakra directly, Android 21 realized, watching the CTIMS wither as blue-green energy was pulled from their bodies, and using it to further destabilize dimensional boundaries. Goku's expression hardened, playfulness vanishing. That ends now. With blinding speed, he severed multiple tendrils with precisely aimed ki blasts, freeing captured shinobi who collapsed unconscious but alive. The harbinger howled in frustration, focusing its full attention on the Saiyan warrior. The harvest cannot be stopped. My master's vision encompasses all realities. Tsunade seized the opening, charging forward with chakra-enhanced speed that belied her apparent age. Her fist connected with what passed for the entity's core, the impact releasing stored energy from her strength of 100 seal. The resulting explosion sent purple essence scattering in all directions. For the Hokage, nearby shinobi cried, rallying to press the advantage with fire, water, earth, and lightning techniques that targeted the dispersing harbinger from all angles. Naruto, enhanced by Sage mode, formed a massive Rasengan between his hands, the swirling chakra growing until it dwarfed its creator. Giant Rasengan. The technique struck a reforming mass of the entity, grinding through purple essence with corrosive force. Unlike previous attacks, this one seemed to prevent reformation of affected areas entirely. Nature energy disrupts its cohesion more effectively, Android 21 noted. Analyzing the interaction. Fascinating. Goku landed beside her, watching the coordinated assault with appreciation. These ninja are pretty good. Their techniques are nothing like what we use. But they're effective. Indeed, the fundamental energy system differs substantially from Ki, yet achieves comparable results through different mechanisms. Her eyes tracked Naruto's movements with particular interest. That one especially contains energy readings off conventional scales. The Harbinger, though damaged, continued reforming with stubborn persistence. Multiple rifts remained open, though no longer actively draining victims thanks to Goku's intervention. We need to close those portals, Goku observed, sensing the dimensional instability growing. Any ideas? 21. She calculated possibilities within human speed. The entity appears to be maintaining them through direct energy expenditure. If we force it to deplete its reserves completely, hit it with everything at once. Goku concluded, nodding. I like simple plans. Tsunade approached them, breathing heavily but standing tall despite her injuries. Whatever you're planning, make it quick. My village can't sustain this level of damage much longer. Goku grinned. We need everyone to attack together. Focus on the big shadow thing with everything you've got. Your strongest techniques, all at once. A coordinated assault, Tsunade considered, glancing around at her gathered forces. Unconventional, but we're short on options. She raised her voice, command presence unmistakable. All shinobi, prepare your strongest jutsu on my signal. Target the center mass. Naruto created hundreds more clones, each beginning to form Rasengan variants. Ready when you are, Grandma Tsunade. Goku floated upward, gathering ki once more, but this time channeling it differently, drawing on the divine energy of Super Saiyan Blue. His golden aura shifted to brilliant azure, power radiating in waves that made even experienced shinobi step back in awe. What incredible chakra, Tsunade murmured, feeling pressure unlike anything in her long experience. If that's what you call ki, it's formidable indeed. Android 21 observed Goku's transformation with scientific appreciation. Divine ki, energy infused with godly essence. Quite effective against dimensional anomalies in our previous encounter. The Harbinger sensed the gathering power, multiple rifts pulsing as it drew energy desperately from other dimensions. Your resistance changes nothing. My master comes. The convergence accelerates even now. Ready, Tsunade called, chakra glowing around her form as she prepared her own technique. Naruto and his army of clones answered in unison. Ready. Goku's blue aura intensified as he cupped his hands at his side. Ka, me, ha, me. Now, Tsunade commanded. The village erupted with chakra as dozens of shinobi unleashed their most powerful techniques simultaneously. Fire dragons, water vortexes, lightning bolts, earth spears, and countless specialized jutsu converged on the Harbinger from all directions. Naruto and his clones launched forward, each driving Rasengan variants into different sections of the entity's mass. Rasengan barrage. Tsunade slammed her fist into the ground with earth-shattering force, destabilizing the very foundation beneath the Harbin. Jeer while disrupting its reformation patterns. Ha! Goku's Kamehameha, enhanced with divine ki, struck the Harbinger's center mass like the judgment of a god. Blue energy washed over purple essence, molecular bonds breaking down under the overwhelming assault. The combined attack created a spectacular light show visible for miles, chakra and ki energies interacting in ways neither world had witnessed before. The Harbinger's form destabilized completely, unable to maintain cohesion under such concentrated power. Impossible, it howled as its essence scattered. The convergence cannot be stopped. The dimensional rifts pulsed violently before collapsing one by one, reality sealing itself as the entity's power failed. A final explosion of purple light erupted from where the Harbinger had stood. Then silence fell over the battered village. Goku descended slowly, releasing his transformation as he rejoined Android 21 and the ninja leaders. That worked better than expected. Preliminar. Y scans indicate dimensional stability has improved by approximately 46.2% in the immediate vicinity, Android 21 reported, examining her partially functioning equipment. Though significant disruption remains at the quantum level, Tsunade studied their strange visitors with new respect mingled with wariness. I believe you owe us an explanation about what just happened to my village. Starting W. ITH who you are and what a dimensional convergence means for Konoha. Naruto approached, his sage mode Fadku with undisguised curiosity. That blue transformation, it felt different than the golden one. And neither feels anything like chakra. It's called Super Saiyan Blue, Goku explained with characteristic directness. A form that uses divine ki. The golden one was regular Super Saiyan, still pretty strong, but not god level. Super Saiyan, Naruto repeated, brows furrowing. What's a Saiyan? An alien warrior race from our dimension, Android 21 supplied matter-of-factly. Goku is one of the few remaining members. Tsunade pinched the bridge of her nose, a headache forming. Aliens. Dimensional convergence. Divine energy. As if rogue ninja and tailed beasts weren't enough to deal with. Lady Tsunade, a shinobi messenger appeared, kneeling briefly before delivering his report. The shadow entities have retreated from all sectors. The village perimeter is secure, but casualties are extensive. The hospital is overwhelmed. The Hokage straightened, leadership instincts overriding personal confusion. Prioritize the critically wounded. I'll join the medical teams shortly. She turned back to the interdimensional visitors. This conversation isn't over, but it will have to wait until my people are safe. Goku nodded understanding. We're happy to help with the cleanup. 21's pretty good at healing too, though her methods might be different from yours. My cellular regeneration technology could assist with critical cases, Android 21 offered. Though adaptation to chakra-based physiology would require brief analysis. Tsunade's expression remained guarded but pragmatic. I'll take whatever help is offered right now. But understand, you're under OBS. Observation until I'm satisfied you're not threats to Konoha. Fair enough, Goku agreed easily. Though I'd love a good meal after everything settles down. Interdimensional travel really works up an appetite. Naruto laughed despite the destruction around them. I know a great ramen shop that might have survived the attack. If Ichiraku's still standing, I'll treat you myself. As the immediate crisis subsided, teams of shinobi began organized recovery efforts throughout the village. Goku assisted by lifting massive debris with his incredible strength, while Android 21 joined medical teams, analytical mind quickly adapting to chakra-based healing. Tsunade worked tirelessly, her mystical palm technique saving countless lives as she moved from patient to patient. During a brief respite, she found herself watching the strange woman called Android 21 with professional curiosity. Your healing methods are unlike anything I've seen, she commented, observing as Android 21's hands glow. With energy that seemed to restructure damaged tissue at the cellular level. Not chakra-based at all, yet equally effective in some ways. Molecular reconstruction guided by stored biological templates. Android 21 explained without looking up from her patient. My internal systems can analyze optimal cellular structures and replicate them in damaged tissue. Internal systems, Tsunade repeated, medical interest peaked. Are you suggesting your body contains technological components? I am an artificial human. What our world calls an android, she confirmed. Though significantly more advanced than previous models. With integrated biological components including modified Saiyan cells. Before Tsunade could pursue this fascinating revelation further, a commotion near the village gates drew their attention. Naruto arrived via body flicker technique, expression urgent. Another dimensional rift is forming outside the village. He reported. Different from the others, it's blue instead of purple. Goku joined them, having heard Naruto's announcement. Blue energy. That sounds like it might be from the third world, the one with heroes and quirks. The convergence accelerates, Android 21 stated, rising from her patient's bedside. Just as the Harbinger claimed. Tsunade looked between them, decision forming. If these attacks are connected to your dimensional convergence, we need more information. Naruto, you and I will accompany these visitors to investigate this new anomaly. Awesome. Naruto's enthusiasm remained undimmed despite the day's battles. Maybe we'll meet people from another world. Goku's expression brightened with similar excitement. That's the spirit. New worlds mean new fighting styles to learn. As they prepared to depart, Android 21 pulled Goku aside, voice lowered. The dimensional barriers continue weakening at an accelerated rate. Without my completed stabilizer, transit between worlds will become increasingly unpredictable. Meaning we could get stuck here? Goku asked, unconcerned by the prospect. Or worse, trigger catastrophic dimensional collapse by further transit, she corrected. We need to proceed with extreme caution. Naruto approached, overhearing the last part of their conversation. So these rifts, they're like tiers between different worlds. And if they keep getting bigger, our worlds could what? Crash into each other. An imprecise but essentially accurate assessment, Android 21 confirmed. 3 distinct realities, each with unique fundamental forces and energy systems, are being artificially drawn together. Complete convergence would result in dimensional collapse and potential destruction of all 3. Then we definitely need to check out this new portal, Naruto decided, determination hardening his features. If people from this third world are coming through, maybe they know something we don't. Tsunade rejoined them, having delegated village recovery operations to trusted captains. Let's move quickly. If this situation is as dire as you claim, we can't afford to waste time. Together, the unusual group departed toward the village outskirts, Goku and Android 21 from a world of ki and martial arts legends. Tsunade and Naruto representing the shinobi world of chakra and hidden villages, all heading toward a blue dimensional rift that promised connection to yet another reality. As they approached the forest clearing where energy readings had been detected, the air shimmered with unnatural light. Unlike the purple tears created by the Harbinger, this rift pulsed with vibrant blue energy that seemed less malevolent but equally unstable. The energy signature matches theoretical models of the third convergence point, Android 21 confirmed, analyzing readings from her partially repaired equipment. The Hero Society dimension. Goku studied the pulsing rift with experienced eyes. It's not fully open yet, more like testing the waters. Someone's being careful about how they cross over. Tsunade maintained a defensive stance, unwilling to take chances after the day's earlier attack. Friend or foe remains to be determined. Be ready for either. Naruto extended his senses, enhanced by sage chakra he'd gathered along the journey. There's definitely someone on the other side. Their energy feels different than the shadow guys. Less hostile, as if responding to his assessment. The rift stabilized, blue energy coalescing into a more defined portal. Through its translucent surface, they glimpsed another world, one of modern buildings, advanced technology. And figures wearing colorful costumes unlike shinobi tactical gear. A silhouette approached from the other side, a tall figure whose shape seemed to shift and flow. As they neared the threshold, details became clearer. A woman in a form-fitting hero costume, her features transforming partially between human and draconic as she tested the portal's stability. Someone's coming through, Naruto warned, though his posture remained curious rather than hostile. The portal rippled as the woman carefully extended one hand, now scaled and clawed, through the dimensional boundary. Finding resistance but not rejection, she stepped fully through with practiced grace, the rift closing partially behind her. She stood before them, tall and imposing, with an elegant hero costume and features that shifted subtly between human and dragon. Her eyes widgathered group, lingering particularly on Goku with evident recognition. Son Goku, she addressed him directly, voice carrying authority tempered with respect. The dimensional monitors detected your energy signature. I am Ryukyu, the dragon hero, sent to establish contact regarding the convergence crisis affecting our worlds. Goku blinked in surprise. You know who I am. And about the convergence. Our world's scientific community has been tracking dimensional anomalies for months, she explained, her transformation receding until she ARED fully human apart from subtle scale patterns along her exposed skin. When energy patterns matching your distinctive signature appeared in our readings, certain, interested parties took notice. Her gaze shifted to Android 21 with clear interest. Dr. Android 21, I presume. Your theoretical work on quantum entanglement across dimensional barriers proved instrumental in developing our monitoring technology. Android 21 adjusted her glasses, expression betraying rare surprise. Fascinating. My research has cross-dimensional influence despite no direct contact. The implications for information transfer across quantum barriers are significant. Tsunade cleared her throat pointedly. As Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village, I'd appreciate some explanation about what's happening to our woe. RLD before you two compare scientific notes. Ryukyu turned to her with a respectful bow. Lady Tsunade, your reputation extends even to our dimension. I apologize for the abrupt arrival, but circumstances have accelerated beyond predictions. You know me too. Tsunade's suspicion deepened. Just how much information has been passing between our worlds? Dimensional bleeding has allowed information transfer for decades. Ryukyu explained. Manifesting in our world is what many dismissed as fictional stories. Only recently did we discover these were actually quantum impressions from parallel realities. Naruto stepped forward, curiosity overcoming caution. So in your world, you know about us. About Konoha and Chakra and everything. To some extent, Ryukyu confirmed. Though much as believed fictional until dimensional readings confirmed otherwise. Similarly, your world likely has impressions of ours, perhaps as stories or legends about heroes with unusual abilities. Goku folded his arms, processing this revelation. So that's why Zeno was so concerned. Information bleeding between worlds was just the first stage of convergence. Precisely, Ryukyu nodded. What began as quantum information transfer has progressed to physical manifestations. The attack on your village today was mirrored in our world. Tokyo faced similar shadow entities targeting heroes specifically. A coordinated strike across multiple dimensions, Android 21 theorized, scientific mind analyzing implications. Designed to weaken dimensional boundaries while harvesting unique energies from each world. Tsunade's expression hardened. And who exactly is behind these attacks? Your interested parties must have theories. We believe it's an entity that exists between dimensions, Ryukyu explained. A being that discovered the multiverse long before our civilizations and has been manipulating convergence points for its own evolution. Our intelligence identifies it as convergence, a consciousness that feeds on dimensional energy and seeks to become a god of unified reality. Another wannabe god, Goku sighed, scratching his head. We deal with those pretty regularly in our world. They never know when to quit. The dimensional rift pulsed behind Ryukyu, blue energy fluctuating unstably. My transit window is closing. I came to establish contact and warn you, convergence targets specific individuals in each world. People whose energy signatures serve as dimensional anchors. Her gaze fixed on Naruto. In this world, Jinchuriki are primary targets, particularly you, Naruto Uzumaki. The Nine Tails chakra resonates powerfully across dimensional boundaries. Naruto's hand unconsciously moved to his stomach where the Nine Tails was sealed. That explains why those shadow things were so interested in me. In our world, one for all and all for one users are targeted for similar reasons, Ryukyu continued. And in yours, she turned to Goku, those with divine ki, particularly Saiyans who've achieved god-level transformations. The rift behind her pulsed more violently, beginning to destabilize. Ryukyu glanced back with concern. I cannot maintain stable transit much longer. Our scientists have developed preliminary dimensional anchors. She handed a small device to Android 21. This should help stabilize your transit between worlds. Android 21 examined the technology with evident appreciation. This incorporates principles from my own research but applies them through mechanisms I hadn't considered. Quite impressive. We need to coordinate our defense. Ryukyu continued urgently as the portal flickered. Convergence will target all three worlds simultaneously in its next attack. The hero who wields one for all, Izuku Midoriya, has requested a summit between representatives from each world. Quote, a summit sounds good, Goku agreed. But how do we get to your world safely? Our transition here wasn't exactly smooth. The anchor device should facilitate controlled transit. Ryukyu explained as the portal behind her began collapsing. Calibrate it too. Her instructions were cut short as the rift contracted violently, pulling her backward. With reflexes honed through years of hero work, she shifted partially to dragon form, claws digging into the ground to resist the dimensional recall. Convergence knows we're communicating. She called over the rising energy distortion. It's interfering with the portal stability. Goku moved instantly, grabbing her arm to anchor her against the portal's pull. We've got you. 21, can you stabilize that thing? Android 21 was already working with the device Ryukyu had provided, fingers flying over unfamiliar controls. Attempting to establish resonance harmonics, but the interference pattern is complex. Naruto joined Goku, adding his strength to resist Ryukyu's extraction. We're not letting you get pulled back alone. If your world is under attack too, we need to stick together. The dimensional rift expanded suddenly, energy patterns shifting from blue to purple as an external force exerted control. Ryukyu's expression showed alarm as she recognized the signature. It's convergence. It's using my transit path to force a full breach. Through the destabilizing portal, shadowy tendrils began extending, similar to those the Harbinger had wielded but vastly more numerous and powerful. Behind them, a massive shape began forming, dwarfing even the Harbinger they'd defeated earlier. We need to close it now, Tsunade commanded, already weaving signs for a sealing jutsu despi. Knowing conventional techniques might prove useless against dimensional threats. Android 21 worked frantically with the anchor device. If I reverse the polarity of the quantum stabilizer, yes, it should collapse the artificial pathway. Do it, Goku urged, still holding Ryukyu against the portal's pull while preparing to battle whatever emerged. Android 21 activated the modified device, sending a pulse of counter-frequency energy into the rift. The portal shuddered, purple energy fighting against the blue containment field generated by her impromptu solution. It's working, Naruto observed as the shadowy tendrils began retreating, the massive form behind them fading from view. Ryukyu's expression showed relief mixed with new determination. The anchor is creating a dimensional firewall. But it won't hold forever. Then we use this opportunity, Tsunade decided, strategic mind formulating plans. If all three worlds are targeted, we need representatives from each to coordinate our defense. The portal continued contracting, its pull on Ryukyu diminishing as Android 21's countermeasures took effect. Goku helped the dragon hero regain her footing as the dimensional Ryukyu acknowledged. Her partially transformed features returning fully to human form. That was closer than I'd like to admit. So what now? Naruto asked, looking between the interdimensional visitors. Do we follow you back to your worlds? Or do you stay here? Goku looked to Android 21 for technical insight. What's the safest option with that device you've got? She examined the anchor thoughtfully. With proper calibration, it should allow controlled transit for a small group. However, someone must remain at each dimensional point to maintain stability. I originally came to escort representatives back to my world, Ryukyu explained. Our scientists have established a secure facility specifically designed for interdimensional coordination. Tsunade considered the options, weighing village security against the need for information. Naruto should go. As a target of these convergence attacks and potentially our strongest asset, he needs to understand what we're facing. I'll go too, Goku decided. I've got the most experience with different dimensions and can help protect everyone during transit. Android 21 nodded agreement. I should remain here temporarily establish a stable anchor point using the device's specifications. Lady Tsunade's scientific and medical knowledge would be invaluable in that process. The Hokage raised an eyebrow at the android's presumption but didn't disagree. Fine, I'll work with you to secure our end of this dimensional bridge. But Naruto, her expression softened slightly, be careful. We're dealing with unknown factors even by shinobi standards. Don't worry, Grandma Tsunade, Naruto grinned with characteristic confidence. I'll figure out what's happening and come back with a plan. Believe it. Ryukyu turned to Android 21. The anchor requires approximately 12 hours to establish stable pathways between all three worlds. Once activated, it will create a secure transit corridor immune to Convergence's interference. Understood. I'll begin calibrations immediately. Android 21 was already examining the device's internal components with scientific precision. So we wait until tomorrow, Goku summarized. Disappointed at the delay to new adventures. At least that gives me time to try this ramen Naruto keeps talking about. Naruto brightened immediately. Ichiraku should be open even with everything that happened. Nobody stops Tsuki from serving ramen, not even dimensional invaders. As the group prepared to return to the village, Ryukyu moved closer to Goku, speaking quietly. There's something else you should know. The readings we detected from your energy signature, they're changing. Goku looked at her curiously. Changing how? Your divine key is developing harmonic patterns at resonate with both chakra and quirk energy simultaneously, she explained. It's as if your power is naturally adapting to bridge the dimensional gaps. Is that bad? He asked, never particularly concerned about the technical aspects of his abilities. Not bad, she clarified, but significant. It suggests you may be more central to resolving this crisis than even the Omni King realized. Goku absorbed this information with unusual thoughtfulness. I've never been much for complicated plans or cosmic responsibilities. I just like fighting strong opponents and protecting people who can't protect themselves. Sometimes that's exactly what the multiverse needs, Ryukyu replied, a hint of admiration in her voice. A simple heart with extraordinary power. As they rejoined the others for the walk back to Konoha, the setting sun cast long shadows across the forest. 3 worlds had connected today, their champions meeting for the first time. In distant dimensions, ancient forces moved against them, accelerating plans millennia in the making. The convergence had begun, and only those who could stand in the breach between worlds had any hope of preventing cosmic collapse. ###ch. After 1 end Chapter 2, the hero's journey begins. Morning light filtered through Konoha's partially rebuilt structures, casting long shadows across training grounds where Naruto stood before a glowing blue portal. The dimensional anchor hummed with increasing intensity as Android 21 made final adjustments, her slender fingers manipulating components with inhuman precision. Nearby, Tsunade observed with arms crossed, medical mind cataloging the unfamiliar technology's effects on surrounding chakra fields. Quantum stability at 87% and rising, Android 21 reported, eyes fixed on scrolling data. The anchor is establishing fixed coordinates in the hero dimension while maintaining our return pathway. Goku stretched casually beside Naruto, seemingly unconcerned by the physics-defying miracle taking shape before them. So we just stepped through and were there. Way easier than instant transmission across dimensions. The transit process remains potentially hazardous, Android 21 cautioned without looking up. Your physiologies will experience momentary quantum restructuring to accommodate dimensional variance. Naruto tilted his head. You lost me after transit process. It might feel weird, Goku translated with a grin. But we can handle it, right? Definitely. Naruto matched his enthusiasm, adjusting his headband with determination. After everything we've faced, a little dimensional travel won't stop us. Tsunade stepped forward, authority radiating from her stance despite the previous day's battles leaving her somewhat depleted. Remember your mission parameters, Naruto. This is reconnaissance and alliance building, not a combat expedition. Observe their world, understand their power systems, and establish diplomatic connections with their leadership. I know, Grandma Tsunade. I'll be on my best behavior, Naruto promised, though the gleam in his blue eyes suggested excitement overriding caution. Somehow I doubt that, she sighed, then turned to Goku. As for you, try not to challenge everyone you meet to combat. First impressions matter when forming interdimensional alliances. Goku rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. No promises, but I'll try to wait at least a few minutes before asking anyone to spar. Ryukyu approached, having spent the night coordinating with her dimension via specialized communications built into the anchor device. Transit window stabilizing. We should depart now to minimize dimensional disruption. Android 21 completed her final calibrations, stepping back from the humming portal. Dimensional pathway secured. Return coordinates locked. The anchor will maintain connection for precisely 72 hours before requiring recalibration. 3 days, Tsunade translated, fixing Naruto with a pointed look. Return by then or we'll need to establish a new connection, which may not be possible if conditions deteriorate. Got it. 3 days to save the multiverse, Naruto nodded with characteristic confidence. No pressure. Ryukyu turned to Android 21. The secondary anchor is programmed to activate in 24 hours, establishing connection to your home dimension. That should allow safe transit for you once this location is secure. Acknowledged. I will complete stabilization protocols here before attempting transit. Android 21's gaze lingered on Goku momentarily. Exercise caution. Your energy signature makes you a primary target for convergence forces. Goku flashed her a thumbs up. Don't worry about me, I'm actually looking forward to meeting whatever's behind all this. That's exactly what concerns me, she murmured, adjusting her glasses in a gesture that failed to hide her subtle worry. Time to move, Ryukyu announced as the portal's resonance reached optimal stability. Molecular reconfiguration will feel momentarily disorienting. Focus on maintaining your personal energy, ki or chakra, stable throughout transit. Goku stepped forward first, fearless as always. See you on the other side. He crossed the threshold in a flash of blue light, his form briefly distorting before vanishing completely a second before following with a determined grin and a final wave to Tsunade. Ryukyu moved last, pausing to exchange a meaningful look with Android 21. Take care of your end. We'll handle ours, she said simply before stepping through, the portal contracting slightly behind her. Tsunade exhaled slowly as the three travelers disappeared. And now we wait. Not entirely, Android 21 corrected, already turning toward makeshift laboratory equipment she'd assembled overnight. We have precisely 71 hours and 47 minutes to develop more permanent stabilization technology. I'll require access to your village's research phase Liddy's and any data on chakra-based dimensional manipulation. The Hokage's eyebrow rose fractionally. You adapt quickly to giving orders in someone else's village. Efficiency supersedes protocol when reality itself is threatened. Android 21 replied without apology, though she added after a moment's consideration, but I would appreciate your assistance, Lady Tsunade. Your expertise in chakra manipulation is unparalleled in this dimension. A hint of a smile touched Tsunade's lips. That's better. Come, I'll show you what we have. Though I warn you, our approaches to science differ considerably from what you seem accustomed to. Different methodologies often yield unexpected innovations, Android 21 responded, gathering her equipment. Perhaps the integration of our knowledge systems will prove as valuable as the convergence of our worlds is dangerous. As they departed toward the village, the dimensional portal pulsed steadily behind them, a stable bridge between worlds that old soon face tests beyond its designer's predictions. Interdimensional transit felt nothing like instant transmission. Where Goku's technique provided nearly instantaneous transport with minimal discomfort, this journey stretched perception itself. Colors inverted, senses confused, and for a terrifying moment, Goku experienced his body as patterns of probability rather than solid matter. Then reality reasserted itself with jarring finality, and he stumbled forward onto polished tile floors beneath harsh fluorescent lighting. Disoriented but recovering quickly thanks to his enhanced physiology, Goku straightened to find himself in what appeared to be a high-tech facility surrounded by people in lab coats and uniformed security personnel. Naruto materialized moments later with considerably less grace, tumbling forward before catching himself with chakra-enhanced reflexes. Whoa, that was intense. Felt like my insides were my outsides for a second there. Ryukyu appeared last, her transition smooth and controlled, clearly experienced with the process. The scientists around them lowered weapons they'd instinctively raised, recognition dawning as they identified their dragon hero. Transit successful, announced a bespectacled man in a lab coat. Quantum signatures stable, no detection of pursuing entities. Welcome to UA's Special Research Division, Ryukyu addressed her companions. Few know this facility exists beneath the public face of Japan's premier hero academy. Goku surveyed their surroundings with curious interest, equipment more advanced than even Capsule. E-Corp's latest technology hummed alongside security systems that monitored dimensional stability. Nice setup, reminds me of Bulma's lab, but with more people and fewer robots. Naruto stared wide-eyed at everything, his sensory abilities overwhelmed by the unfamiliar energy patterns permeating this new world. The energy here feels different. Not like chakra at all. What you're sensing is quirk energy, explained a new voice as automatic doors slid open to admit a small group. At their center walked a diminutive figure that barely reached Goku's waist, an animal-like being walking upright. Dressed in formal attire with an unusual scar over one eye. Ah, Principal Nezu, Ryukyu greeted with a respectful bow. Our interdimensional guests have arrived safely. So I see. The creature, evidently Nezu, approached with surprising authority despite his size. Son Goku of Universe 7, wielder of Divine Ki. And Naruto Uzumaki, Jinchuriki of the Nine-Tailed Fox. Your reputations quite literally transcend dimensions. Goku blinked in surprise. You're a talking animal. We have those in our world too, though most don't wear clothes or run schools. Naruto elbowed him. I think that might be rude to point out. He whispered none too quietly. Nezu chuckled good-naturedly. No offense taken. I am indeed an animal with a quirk that grants me high intelligence, an anomaly even in our world of extraordinary abilities. Which makes me particularly qualified to appreciate visitors from realities operating under different physical laws. The principal turned to the scientists. Are our other guests ready? A researcher nodded, activating a communication device. Team Deku is standing by in briefing room A. Excellent. Then let's not keep them waiting. Nezu gestured toward the exit. I believe introductions between our world's primary target and yourselves should be our first priority. As they followed Nezu through sterile white corridors, Goku leaned toward Ryukyu. So this, Team Deku, they're strong fighters. Quote, Izuku Midoriya, codenamed Deku, is perhaps our world's most unique hero, she explained quietly. His quirk, one for all, accumulates power across generations. In many ways, he's our dimension's counterpart to both of you, a young hero with unprecedented potential and a special energy signature that attracts Convergence's attention. Sounds interesting. Goku's eyes lit with familiar battle hunger. I can't wait to see what he can do. Naruto, meanwhile, focused on their surroundings with analytical attention that would have surprised those who knew him only by reputation. This place feels different from home. More ordered. The energy flows in patterns instead of natural currents. An astute observation, Nezu commented, ears twitching appreciatively. Quirk society developed alongside technological advancement, creating systematic approaches to power management that your shinobi world evolved without. Different paths to remarkable results. They entered an elevator that descended rapidly, digital indicators suggesting they were traveling deep beneath the public academy above. When the doors opened, they revealed a massive operatio. NS center buzzing with activity, screens monitoring dimensional anomalies worldwide while hero teams coordinated responses via advanced communications. Welcome to the Dimensional Defense Initiative, Nezu announced with evident pride. Established 6 months ago when our scientists first confirmed the convergence threat. We've been tracking incursions, studying interdimensional physics, and preparing for the inevitable escalation. Goku whistled, impressed despite his usual indifference to technology. You guys really plan ahead. In our world, we usually just wait until the bad guys show up, then fight them. A reactive approach that has served your dimension well, according to our intelligence, Nezu acknowledged. But our society functions differently. Professional heroes operate within systems designed to maximize effectiveness while minimizing collateral damage. Naruto's expression grew thoughtful. Like the Ninja Alliance during the war, but permanent instead of just for emergencies. Precisely. Nezu beamed. Different evolutionary paths toward similar protective structures. Fascinating from an anthropological perspective. They approached a conference room with transparent walls where 3 figures waited, a young man with green-tinged black hair, a blonde woman in a skin-tight costume, and a man whose body appeared partially composed of fire. Team Deku, Ryukyu identified as they entered. Our primary response unit for convergence incursions. The green-haired young man rose immediately, eyes widening as he recognized their visitors. His expression cycled rapidly through disbelief, excitement, and determined professionalism before settling on nerve. Really him, Son Goku. He exclaimed, bowing deeply. I've studied your fighting techniques from dimensional energy imprints. Your battle against Jiren the Grey demonstrated key application principles that revolutionized my own quirk development. Goku grinned, immediately warming to the young hero's enthusiasm. Nice to meet you too. You must be Deku, right? Ryukyu says you're super strong. Oh, I wouldn't say. That is, Deku stammered before collecting himself with visible effort. I'm Izuku Midoriya. This is MT, Lady and Endeavor. He indicated his companions. We've been tasked with primary response to dimensional threats in Japan. Naruto stepped forward, offering a friendly hand. Naruto Uzumaki, future Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village. Your world is pretty amazing. All this technology alongside superpowers. Deku shook his hand with careful control that suggested tremendous strength held in check. Ninja techniques functioning without quirk genetics, equally incredible from our perspective. The applications of chakra control compared to our quirk limitations could provide breakthrough insights. Nezu cleared his throat. Perhaps we should begin the briefing. Time remains our scarcest resource. At his prompt, the room darkened and a holographic display activated in the center of the conference table. Three-dimensional models of Earth from each dimension rotated slowly, highlighted areas indicating dimensional weak points. For the past 9 months, our world has experienced increasing dimensional anomalies. Deku began, slipping into a professional reporting tone that contrasted with his earlier nervousness. Initially dismissed as quirk-related phenomena, the pattern became unmistakable 3 months ago when shadow entities began emerging from unstable areas. The display shifted to footage of battles across cityscapes, heroes engaging shadowy figures identical to those that had attacked Konoha. Goku and Naruto leaned forward simultaneously, recognizing their adversaries. The same creatures, Naruto confirmed. They attacked our village yesterday. Simultaneous offensive across dimensions, Endeavor noted, his flame-composed parts flickering with controlled intensity. Strategic coordination suggesting intelligence beyond mere dimensional predators. Exactly, Deku agreed. Analysis of energy signatures from captured specimens revealed quantum entanglement with a central consciousness we've designated convergence, an entity that exists in the spaces between dimensions. The hologram shifted to theoretical models of a massive, amorphous being spanning multiple reality layers. We believe convergence discovered the multiverse eons ago, Ryukyu continued the explanation. Initially feeding on natural energy leakage between dimensions, it eventually developed sentience and purpose, to unite all realities under its control, harvesting their unique energies to ascend to godhood. Goku's expression grew serious, memories of previous god-level threats surfacing. Sounds like Zamasu all over again, another guy who thought he knew better than everyone else how reality should work. Quote, "The comparison is apt," Nezu acknowledged. Though convergence appears less ideological and more pragmatically hungry, it doesn't wish to replace gods, it wishes to consume them. Along with everything else, Naruto frowned. So why target specific people in each world? Ryukyu mentioned Jinchuriki in our world, one for all users here. Dimensional anchors, Deku explained, highlighting 3 figures in the display, himself, Naruto, and Goku. Each world has individuals whose energy signatures resonate across dimensional boundaries. These anchors represent both threat and opportunity to convergence. Threat because we can potentially disrupt its plans, Goku reasoned, and opportunity because capturing us would accelerate whatever it's trying to do. Precisely, Deku confirmed, impressed by the Saiyan's quick understanding. Convergence requires control of at least one primary anchor from each dimension to stabilize the convergence process long enough to complete reality merger. The hologram displayed a simulation of 3 worlds slowly colliding, reality fracturing at impact points before collapsing entirely. Total dimensional collapse, Ryukyu stated grimly. The end of all 3 realities unless we can stop the acceleration process. Goku folded his arms, thoughtful but unintimidated. I've faced universe-destroying threats before. There's always a way to win if you hit the right thing hard enough. While I appreciate your confidence, Endeavor interjected, flame-composed features settling into a scowl, our intel. Legends suggests conventional attacks, even at your power level, cannot harm convergence directly while it remains between dimensions. Naruto leaned forward, so we need to force it fully into one world where we can actually fight it. That's our current strategy, Deku confirmed. But controlling when and where that confrontation happens is crucial. If convergence manifests at full power in a populated area, the hologram displayed devastating simulations of reality warping destruction radiating outward from a central point. Not good, Goku acknowledged. So we need a plan to draw it out somewhere safe. Then hit it with everything we've got from all 3 worlds. The combined application of ki, chakra, and quirk energy simultaneously, Deku theorized, eyes bright with strategic possibilities. No entity, even one evolved to manipulate dimensional energies, could withstand harmonized assault from 3 distinct power systems. Naruto grinned. I like this guy, he thinks like Shikamaru but talks like Sakura. Before they could continue, alarms blared throughout the facility. Screens shifted to real-time footage of downtown Musudafu where massive distortions warped buildings and streets. Shadowy figures emerged in unprecedented numbers while civilians fled in panic. Convergence incursion in progress, reported a technician. Scale exceeds all previous events by 300%. Deku was immediately on his feet. They're escalating. This isn't a random attack, it's targeted. They know we're meeting, Ryukyu realized. Convergence is aware of our coordination efforts. Endeavor rose, flames intensifying around his costume. Theory later. Response now. Team Deku deploys immediately. We're coming too, Goku stated rather than asked, already moving toward the door. Nezu nodded quickly. Your assistance would be invaluable. But be warned, our world has protocols for hero activities. Collateral damage must be minimized, and civilian evacuation takes priority over engaging enemies. Professional heroes, not vigilantes, MT. Lady clarified, speaking for the first time as she rose to her impressive height. We work within systems. Naruto exchanged glances with Goku. We can handle following some rules if it means protecting people. Then let's go, Deku declared, green lightning already crackling around his form, the visible manifestation of One for All activating. Ryukyu, standard deployment pattern, mount, lady, civilian extraction, endeavor, containment perimeter, and us, Goku asked, excitement building at the prospect of action. Deku's express. Ion showed both determination and strategic calculation. Your are unknown variables, powers the enemy hasn't fully calculated. Let's use that to our advantage. Downtown Musudafu transformed Rom bustling metropolis to chaos zone in minutes. Dimensional rifts tore through reality at street level, each pulsing with sickly purple energy as shadow entities poured through in coordinated waves. Unlike the attack on Konoha, these forces moved with tactical precision, targeting power infrastructure, communications, and evacuation routes systematically. Above the cityscape, a hero transport craft broke through cloud cover. Hovering momentarily before its bay doors opened to deploy its team. Deku leapt first, green lightning surrounding his body as One for All's power coursed through reinforced limbs. Without hesitatard the conflict zone, calculating trajectory and impact force with practiced precision. Whoa, he just jumped, Naruto exclaimed, peering over the edge. No chakra cushioning or anything. His quirk reinforces his entire physiology, Ryukyu explained as she stepped to the doorway. One for All allows him to withstand impacts that would shatter ordinary humans. Without further commentary, she leapt into open air, her transformation beginning mid-fall. Human features elongated, skin hardening to scales, limbs reconfiguring into powerful draconic appendages. By the time she reached building height, a magnificent dragon soared where the woman had been, wings extending to catch air currents that carried her toward the largest rift. Now that's an awesome transformation, Goku observed appreciatively. Not quite as powerful as a great ape, but way more controlled. Mount. Lady stepped forward next, growing to gigantic proportions before carefully descending toward areas with trapped civilians. Endeavor followed, flame propulsion carrying him toward strategic positions where he immediately began establishing containment barriers of controlled fire. Guess it's our turn, Goku grinned at Naruto. Race you to the biggest explosion. Naruto matched his competitive smile. You're on. Without waiting for the pilot's startled protests, both leapt into open sky, Naruto forming a platform of shadow clones beneath him that cushioned his descent through sequential dispelling, while Goku simply controlled his fall with key manipulation. They landed amid devastation, shattered concrete, overturned vehicles, and frightened civilians huddling behind makeshift barriers. Professional heroes in colorful costumes engaged shadow entities with quirk-based ability. Ranging from elemental manipulation to physical enhancements, their coordinated tactics suggesting extensive training. Different than how ninja fight, Naruto observed as they oriented themselves. More direct, less stealth. Their powers are more specialized too, Goku noted, watching a hero redirect water from broken mains to contain shadow creatures. Each seems to do one thing really well instead of having lots of different techniques. A massive explosion drew their attention to where Deku engaged what appeared to be a Harbinger-class entity, similar to what they'd faced in Konoha but evolved further. With multiple limbs and a core pulsing with concentrated dimensional energy. I'm going to help green hair guy, Goku decided. You good handling some of these smaller shadows? Naruto grinned, already forming his signature hand sign. Shadow Clone Jutsu. 20 perfect duplicates appeared around him, each solid and capable of independent action, a technique that drew startled looks from nearby heroes unaccustomed to such versatility. I've got this area covered, Naruto assured him. Go help Deku. Goku nodded, then with a pulse of ki propelled himself toward the central battle. The Harbinger had Deku momentarily pinned, multiple energy construct limbs restraining the young hero while its core pulsed with increasing brightness, apparently attempting to extract his quirk energy directly. Hey ugly, Goku called as he approached. Pick on someone from your own dimension. The Harbinger's attention shifted, multiple eyes forming across its amorphous surface to track this new threat. Recognition flickered in those inhuman orbs. Saiyan detected, it intoned in the same gravelly voice as its Konoha counterpart. Priority target. Dimensional anchor signature confirmed. Yeah, I'm a big deal, Goku quipped as he landed beside the struggling Deku. You okay, kid? Despite his predicament, Deku managed a strained smile. Been better. Its tentacles uppress quirk activation where they contact bare skin. Trying not to let it touch my face. Let me help with that. Goku's hand shot forward with blinding speed, severing 3 restraining appendages with a precisely aimed ki blade. Freed partially, Deku immediately capitalized on the opening, green lightning intensifying around his right arm. Detroit Smash. The punch connected with concussive force that shattered remaining tentacles and sent the Harbinger reeling backward. Goku whistled appreciatively at the display of raw power. Nice hit. You're pretty strong for a kid without ki training. Deku landed beside him, flexing his hand to ensure no damage from the strike. One for all at 45% capacity. Still working on controlling higher percentages without backlash damage. The Harbinger recovered quickly, its form rippling as it regenerated lost appendages. 2-dimensional anchors present. Convergence priority update. Capture sequence initiated. I don't think so, Goku countered. Golden aura flaring as he transformed into Super Saiyan with casual ease. Let's see how you handle a real fight. Deku's eyes widened at the transformation, professional demeanor momentarily giving way to fanboy enthusiasm. The actual Super Saiyan transformation. The energy output is even more incredible up close. The Harbinger attacked with dozens of tentacles simultaneously, each getting different approach vectors to limit defensive options. Goku and Deku responded with seamless coordination despite never having fought together, the Saiyan's centuries of battle experience complementing the young hero's analytical precision. Duck left, Deku called, having calculated tentacle trajectory patterns. Goku complied without hesitation, allowing Deku to sever approaching appendage. With a blade-like chop enhanced by one for all. Behind you, Goku warned in return, firing a ki blast that intercepted tentacles attempting to snare Deku from behind. The Harbinger pulsed with frustration, its form expanding as it drew energy from nearby smaller shadows. Resistance metrics exceed projections. Adapting strategy. The creature's core suddenly emitted a pulse of dimensional energy that distorted reality in a 10-meter radius. Gravity fluctuated wildly, visual perception warped, and both fighters felt their powers responding unpredictably. It's creating a localized dimensional anomaly. Deku analyzed through gritted teeth, green lightning flickering unstably around him, disrupting the physical laws that govern our abilities. Goku felt the strange effect interfering with his ki control, not suppressing it entirely but making precision techniques difficult. Tricky, but I've fought in weirder conditions. We need to hit that glowing center part together. Deku nodded, immediately calculating angles and force requirements. Combined strike at the dimensional core. I'll approach from below, you from above. On my mark. Without waiting for acknowledgement, Deku launched himself forward, ducking beneath writhing tentacles while charging one for all into both arms. Goku shot skyward, gathering ki between his palms even as the dimensional distortion made energy control feel like molding water with a fork. 3, 2, 1, now. Deku shouted, unleashing his ultimate technique. 100%, plus Ultra Smash. Simultaneously, Goku released his attack. Kamehameha. The Harbinger attempted to dodge both attacks, its form stretching impossibly thin between them. But Deku had calculated this response, his trajectory adjusting mid-strike to connect. With devastating impact that drove the creature directly into the path of Goku's energy wave. Blue Ki energy engulfed the Harbinger's core just as Deku's punch compressed its mass to maximum density. The resulting explosion sent shockwaves rippling outward, shattering windows for blocks in every direction. When the light faded, the Harbinger's essence scattered into rapidly dissipating particles. Its dimensional core destabilized beyond recovery. Deku landed heavily, arms trembling from the strain of using his quirk at maximum output. Goku descended beside him, releasing his Super Saiyan TRA-NS formation as the immediate threat passed. "You all right?" he asked, noting the young hero's condition with experienced eyes. "That was some punch." Deku managed a shaky smile. "Wonder puts extreme stress on my body. I'm still adapting to it." He flexed his fingers, wincing slightly. "Nothing broken this time, though. I'm improving." "That was some impressive fighting," Goku complimented sincerely. "You remind me a little of my son Gohan. Lots of power with a strategic mind behind it." The young hero's expression brightened at the comparison. "Coming from you, that's the highest praise imaginable. I've studied interdimensional energy impressions of your battles for years. Your fight against Majin Buu revolutionized my understanding of momentum conservation in energy projection." Goku blinked, then laughed heartily. "I have no idea what that means, but I'm glad it helped. For me, fighting's always been more about feeling than thinking." Their moment of connection was interrupted as Ryukyu landed nearby, her dragon form magnificent against the urban backdrop before she transformed back to human appearance. "The northern quadrant is secure," she reported professionally. "Mount Lady H has completed civilian evacuation from impact zones. Endeavor reports containment of secondary rifts." Deku immediately shifted back to mission commander mode. "Casualties minimal," she confirmed. "Early warning systems functioned as designed. Shadow entity count, Harbinger class neutralized," Deku reported, gesturing to where the creature's essence had dissipated. "Approximately 40 less. Shadows eliminated or contained according to command center updates." Goku marveled at their efficient reporting, so different from his world's typically chaotic post-battle assessments. "You heroes really have this down to a system. Professional heroism requires professional protocols," Ryukyu explained. "Especially in crisis response." A familiar voice called from above. "Hey, save some for me next time." Naruto descended via a series of acrobatic leaps from a nearby building, landing with ninja grace beside them. His clothing showed signs of battle but his energy remained vibrant. "Shadow clones make cleanup really efficient," he reported with characteristic enthusiasm. 20 of me working with local heroes cleared 6 blocks in minutes. Your multiplication ability impressed our team leaders considerably." Ryukyu acknowledged. "The versatility of ninja techniques offers tactical advantages our specialized quirks can't match." Before they could continue their assessment, the ground beneath them trembled. Cracks spread through concrete as a new dimensional distortion formed, different from the purple rifts of convergence. This anomaly pulsed with swirling energy in multiple colors, expanding rapidly despite having no visible source. "Unidentified dimensional phenomenon," Deku reported into his communicator, already moving to establish a perimeter. "Not matching convergence signature patterns. Possible new incursion type." Ryukyu partially transformed, draconic features emerging as she positioned herself protectively. "Energy signature is chaotic, multiple dimensional frequencies overlapping without harmonization." Goku studied the anomaly with senses honed through countless interdimensional encounters. "That's not an attack, it feels more like someone trying to punch through from somewhere else. Someone powerful." The distortion reached critical mass, reality itself seeming to fold inward before exploding outward in a burst of blinding light. When visibility returned, a figure stood at the center of a smoldering crater, tall, muscular, with distinctive purple skin and pointed ears. Elaborate robes marked with cosmic symbols adorned his imposing frame, and calculating eyes surveyed the gathered heroes with obvious disdain. "Primitive," he pronounced in a voice that resonated unnaturally. "All 3 dimensions reduced to such limited beings." Goku stepped forward, recognition dawning. "You're a supreme Kai, but not from my universe." The deity's attention fixed on Goku, mild surprise registering. "A Saiyan who recognizes divinity. Unexpected, though irrelevant to my purpose." Who are you? Deku demanded, green lightning crackling defensively around his form. What's your connection to convergence? The Kai's expression shifted to amusement. You name it. Convergence, in your limited understanding. How quaint. He gestured dismissively. I am Chronos, Supreme Kai of convergent realities. Once merely the observer of dimensional boundaries, now their master. Naruto tensed beside Goku. So you're behind the attacks on our worlds. The shadow things work for you. My harbingers merely prepare what cannot be avoided, Chronos replied. The convergence of dimensions is cosmic inevitability. I merely accelerate and direct what time itself demands. Ryukyu completed her transformation, towering over the gathering in full dragon form. Whatever cosmic justification you claim doesn't excuse endangering countless lives across multiple realities. Chronos regarded her transformation with clinical interest rather than concern. A curious quirk manifestation, genetic memory of ancient dragons expressed through phenomenal reality manipulation. Primitive, but intriguing. Goku's expression hardened, power building around him. Look, I don't really understand all the cosmic stuff you're talking about, but I know when someone's threatening worlds I care about. How about we skip to the part where I stop you? The Kai's laughter echoed with dimensional harmonics that made reality itself shiver. Arrogant Saiyan, you face no mere mortal or demigod. I transcend the dimensional constraints that limit even your impressive power. Without warning, Chronos raised one hand, and reality distorted around Goku, space itself contracting to immobilize him in a dimensional pocket. Similar distortions captured Deku, Naruto, and Ryukyu simultaneously, each struggling against constraints that operated on fundamental physical laws rather than mere force. I come not to fight, but to observe, Chronos continued calmly, King between his captives with measured steps. To confirm the dimensional anchor's function as predicted, he stopped before Deku, examining the green lightning still crackling around the young hero despite his containment. One for all, quirk energy accumulated across generations. The dimensional resonance is most pronounced in you, young one. Moving to Naruto, the Kai studied the visible manifestation of Nine Tails chakra beginning to emerge defensively. Jinchuriki of Kurama, a perfect symbiosis of human and Biju chakra creating harmonic frequencies that vibrate across dimensional boundaries. Finally, he stood before Goku, whose containment field strained against Super Saiyan energy now radiating from the warrior. And the Saiyan who achieved divinity through sheer stubborn evolution. Your key signature alone would be sufficient for my purposes, but all three together. Inside his dimensional prison, Goku strained against constraints that seemed to adapt to his increasing power. Whatever you're planning, it won't work. I've beaten gods before. You've defeated entities that called themselves gods, Chronos corrected with cold precision. I am something altogether different, the administrator of reality's inevitable convergence. With a gesture, he extracted glowing energy samples from each captive, green lightning from Deku, golden red chakra from Naruto, and blue-tinged ki from Goku. The energy streams orbited his hand, gradually intertwining into a complex pattern. Perfect, he murmured, studying the combined energies. The resonance patterns align precisely as theorized. The final phase can begin. Before he could continue, a massive explosion rocked the area as Endeavor arrived, his prominence burn technique connecting directly with the Kai's unprotected back. Chronos staggered forward, momentarily distracted as his concentration wavered. The dimensional prisons fluctuated, and Goku seized the opportunity. With a roar of effort, he transformed directly to Super Saiyan Blue. Divine Ki shattering his containment through sheer divine authority rather than physical force. Three others remained trapped. Goku moved with godlike speed, striking Chronos with a precisely aimed punch augmented by divine Ki. The impact sent the surprised Kai crashing through several buildings before embedding him in reinforced concrete. Everyone okay? Goku asked, as he quickly disrupted the remaining dimensional prisons, freeing his companions. Deku recovered first, analysis mode engaging instantly. He's extracting signature energy patterns from dimensional anchors, likely to calibrate something. We need to prevent him from leaving with those samples. Naruto's eyes had shifted to slitted crimson as he drew more heavily on Nine Tails' power. Then let's hit him together before he recovers. The rubble where Chronos had landed suddenly exploded outward as the Kai emerged, his elegant robes now torn but his expression merely inconvenienced rather than injured. Impressive resistance, he acknowledged, brushing debris from his shoulders. Your collective potential exceeds even my generous estimates. Endeavor landed beside the group, flames intensifying around his costume. Whatever your planning ends here, false god. Kronos smiled thinly. On the contrary, you've each provided exactly what I required. He held up a crystalline object now, containing the swirling combined energies extracted earlier. The final calibration sample is complete. Stop him, Deku shouted, already launching forward with one for all crackling at maximum safe output. Goku and Naruto attacked simultaneously from different angles, while Ryukyu and Endeavor unleashed ranged attacks to limit escape options. Their coordinated assault should have overwhelmed any opponent, even one of considerable power. Yet Kronos merely sighed, raising his free hand. Time differential activated. Reality shimmered around him, and suddenly the hero's movements appear. To slow dramatically, not frozen but reduced to glacial progress as Kronos himself remained unaffected. He calmly stepped aside from Deku's approaching fist, watched Goku's Kamehameha crawl through air toward him, and observed Naruto's Rasengan spinning with visible individual energy rotations. Dimensional perception allows manipulation of temporal flow, he explained conversationally, though none could respond in their slowed state. Another concept beyond your limited understanding. With casual ease, he opened a swirling portal beside him, this one pulsing with ordered cosmic energy unlike Convergence's chaotic rifts. Before stepping through, he addressed his immobilized opponents one final time. The samples you've provided will accelerate Convergence precisely as required. Your resistance, while admirable, merely confirms your value as catalysts. The portal began to close around him. We shall meet again at the nexus point when all dimensions become one. As he vanished completely, the time differential collapsed, sending all 5 heroes crashing into empty space where their target had been. Momentum carried them into an ungraceful pile of limbs and frustrated exclamations. What just happened? Naruto demanded, extracting himself from beneath Ryukyu's partially transformed tail. He just walked away from all of us. Deku pushed himself up, mind already racing through analysis. Temporal manipulation at a localized quantum level. He didn't just slow us down, he accelerated his own personal timeframe relative to our dimensional constant. In normal words, Goku requested, helping Endeavor to his feet despite the Flame Hero's reluctance to accept assistance. He cheated, Ryukyu translated, completing her transformation back to human form. Using dimensional authority to manipulate time itself. Endeavor's flames flickered with barely controlled rage, and he took whatever energy he extracted from you three. For what purpose remains unclear. Who stared at the empty space where the portal had been, calculations running behind his eyes. He called himself Kronos, Supreme Kai of Convergent Realities. That suggests he's not causing convergence but manipulating an existing process. Zeno mentioned entities exploiting weakening barriers, Goku recalled, dusting himself off. Guess we just met the boss of those shadow things. Naruto folded his arms, Nine-Tails' influence receding as immediate danger passed. So a god from outside our worlds is trying to smash them together, and he's using our energy signatures to do it somehow. An oversimplification, but essentially correct, confirmed a new voice as Principal Nezu approached, having observed the confrontation from a safe distance. This confirms our theoretical models regarding Convergence's intelligent direction rather than random dimensional decay. Deku turned to his principal, professional respect evident despite his battered condition. Sir, Kronos extracted energy amples from all 3-dimensional anchors. We need to understand what he plans to do with them. Indeed. Return to headquarters immediately for full debriefing and analysis, Nezu ordered, already coordinating cleanup teams through his communicator. This encounter provides crucial data points we previously lacked. As emergency services and hero support teams descended on the battle zone, Goku found himself walking alongside Deku toward the extraction point. The young hero's analytical mind reminded him of Gohan, but with a battle focus his son had always struggled to maintain. You fought really well back there. Goku offered sincerely. That quirk of yours packs quite a punch. Deku's expression brightened through his exhaustion. One for all at 45% is approximately equivalent to Y. Our base Super Saiyan form in raw output, by my calculations. Though the application mechanics differ significantly. You analyze everything, don't you? Goku observed with good-natured amusement. Occupational habit. Deku admitted sheepishly. I've spent my life studying quirks and heroes. When dimensional bleeding first allowed us glimpses of your world in Naruto's, I expanded my analysis to include ki and chakra systems. Goku's interest peaked. So you understand how all three energy types work? In theory, yes. The practical application across systems remains theoretical. Deku's eyes suddenly widened with realization. Wait, are you suggesting what I think you are? Goku grinned. If Chronos is using our different energies together, maybe we should figure out how to do that too. Might give us an advantage he's not expecting. For a moment, pure fanboy enthusiasm overtook Deku's professional demeanor. Training with the actual Son Goku. Learning ki manipulation principles firsthand. The interdimensional applications could revolutionize hero combat techniques completely. Naruto joined them, catching the end of the conversation. Training together sounds awesome. I could show you guys shadow clones. And you could teach me that lightning thing and ki blasts. Ryukyu approached more sedately, having overheard their excited planning. Cross-dimensional training has merit from a tactical perspective. If Chronos returns with capabilities enhanced by your combined energy signatures, countering with similar integration could prove essential. Then it's settled, Goku declared enthusiastically. Once we finish reporting and all that stuff, we start training together. I'll teach you guys ki basics, Naruto can show us chakra techniques, and Deku explains how quirks work. As they boarded the transport vehicle, Goku felt genuine excitement beyond mere battle hunger. These young heroes from different dimensions represented new approaches to power and fighting. Fresh perspectives he hadn't encountered in his centuries of martial arts mastery. Perhaps Zeno's assignment would prove more interesting than he'd initially thought. Back at headquarters, the debriefing lasted hours as teams analyzed every aspect of the encounter with Chronos. Scientists examined residual energy patterns, intelligence specialists compiled theoretical profiles on the self-proclaimed Kai. And strategists developed countermeasures against temporal manipulation et al. Deku meticulously documented everything while Naruto struggled to maintain focus during technical discussions. Goku, surprisingly, contributed valuable insights regarding divine beings and dimensional hierarchy based on his experiences with gods of destruction and angels. So in your dimension, Supreme, Kais oversee creation while destruction gods maintain balance. Nezu clarified, fascinated by cosmological differences between realities. Pretty much, Goku confirmed. Though this Chronos Gaidosen, Chi feel like the Supreme Kais from my universe. His energy signature is different somehow. More diffuse, like he exists in multiple places simultaneously. Consistent with a being who operates between dimensional boundaries. Theorized a scientist. His physical manifestation here likely represents only a fraction of his complete existence. Deku added this to his growing notes. Which explains how he survived direct attacks from multiple S-class combatants without significant damage. His true form remains partially protected in interdimensional space. So how do we fight someone who isn't fully in our world? Naruto asked the practical question everyone was considering. We force him to fully manifest, Ryukyu suggested. Draw his complete essence into one dimension where he becomes subject to its physical laws. Easier theorized than accomplished, Endeavor countered, Flamebeard flickering with his frustration. A being with his apparent dimensional authority would never allow such vulnerability. Deku's expression suddenly brightened with realization. Unless we create a dimensional trap that triggers automatically upon partial manifestation. All eyes turned to young hero as he quickly sketched concepts on his tablet. If we combine Android 21's quantum stabilizer technology with our dimensional monitoring systems and anchor points in all three worlds, we could potentially create a dimensional containment field, Ryukyu continued, following his logic. Using the same resonance patterns Chronos extracted from U3 to create a harmonized prison. Fighting fire with fire, Nezu nodded approvingly, or more accurately, fighting dimensional manipulation with dimensional counter-manipulation. Naruto scratched his head, so we use our own energy signatures to create a trap that only works on someone using our energy signatures. Precisely, Deku confirmed. Chronos collected our energy for calibration purposes. If we use the same harmonic resonance principles but invert the quantum field, we create dimensional quicksand that gets stronger the harder he fights against it, Goku translated, surprising everyone with his conceptual grasp. At their startled looks, he shrugged. What? I've fought a lot of weird enemies. You pick things up. As the meeting progressed to technical planning, Goku found himself observing Ryukyu with growing interest. Her practical intelligence complemented her impressive combat abilities, and the controlled power of her transformation reminded him of his own carefully managed strength. Unlike many he'd encountered, she seemed completely comfortable with her power, neither flaunting nor hiding her capabilities. When the debriefing finally concluded, teams dispersed to implement various aspects of their counter-strategy. Deku coordinated with science divisions on the dimensional trap concept, while Naruto offered his shadow clones to assist multiple departments simultaneously, an efficiency that delighted the overworked staff. Ryukyu approached Goku as he stood examining a display of worldwide dimensional disturbances. Your insights regarding divine beings proved invaluable. Our world has legends of gods but little confirmed interaction with higher dimensional entities. To be honest, I never paid much attention to the cosmic hierarchy stuff, Goku admitted. I just know Beerus gets cranky if you interrupt his nap. And Whis is a lot stronger than he lets on. She smiled slightly at his casual reference to beings of incomprehensible power. Your perspective is refreshingly straightforward. In our profession, power often comes wrapped in complexity and bureaucracy. That's why I never went professional, Goku replied, returning her smile. Too many rules get in the way of good fighting. Yet you've saved your universe multiple times, according to dimensional records. Her expression held genuine respect rather than the awe many showed him. Sometimes effectiveness transcends systems. Before Goku could respond, Deku called them over to where he'd assembled training equipment in an adjacent gymnasium-sized space. I've received approval for immediate cross-dimensional training protocols, he announced with barely contained excitement. With Chronos likely to return once he's processed those energy samples, developing integrated combat capabilities becomes our highest priority. Naruto joined them, boundless energy undiminished despite the day's battles and meetings. Awesome. I've been waiting to try out some new jutsu combinations anyway. I've repaired preliminary exercise sequences designed to identify potential synergies between our different energy systems, Deku explained, displaying comprehensive training schedules that made even Ryukyu raise an eyebrow at their thoroughness. Maybe we start with something simpler, Goku suggested kindly. Like understanding the basics of how each energy type feels. Deku blinked, then laughed self-consciously. Right. Of course, I got carried away with optimization before establishing fundamentals. A common training error, Ryukyu noted with gentle amusement. Even experienced heroes sometimes forget basics in pursuit of advanced techniques. Goku moved to the center of the training area, gesturing for the others to join him. Let's start with Ki since it's the most universal. Everyone sit cross-legged in a circle. As they complied, Goku continued with uncharacteristic patience. Ki exists in everything living. It's not just fighting energy, it's life energy itself. The first step is feeling your own ki, then learning to control it. He extended his palm, forming a small, perfectly controlled sphere of golden energy. This is pure ki. No transformation boost, just my natural energy controlled and externalized. Deku stared in fascination, analysis mode engaging instantly. The energy cohesion is remarkable, maintaining perfect spherical shape without containment field or external stabilization. It's about feeling, not thinking, Goku explained, letting the sphere hover between them. He responds to emotion and intention as much as conscious direction. Naruto studied the golden orb with narrowed eyes. It looks kind of like Rasengan, but calmer somehow. Less chaotic. Chakra seems more structured than ki, Goku observed. Like it needs specific patterns to work. Ki flows however you guide it. An apt distinction, Ryukyu noted. Quirks differ from both, genetically predetermined capabilities with defined parameters rather than manipulable energy. Quote, but all three come from life force ultimately, Deku theorized, making connections. Different expressions of the same fundamental concept. Goku nodded encouragingly. Exactly. Which means with practice, you might adapt your own energy systems to incorporate aspects of the others. For the next hour, he guided them through basic ki sensing exercises, teaching Deku and Ryukyu to feel their own internal energy while helping Naruto distinguish ki from his familiar chakra. Progress varied. Naruto's experience with chakra control gave him advantages in sensing but challenges in separating energy types, while Deku's analytical approach both helped and hindered his intuitive connection. Most surprisingly, Ryukyu demonstrated remarkable aptitude, her dragon quirk apparently sharing certain fundamental principles with Saiyan transformations. Your energy shifts during transformation in a pattern similar to Super Saiyan, Goku noted with interest as she practiced maintaining a partial dragon state. Not identical, but the resonance rarities. Dragon quirks are among the oldest documented genetic power expressions, she explained, scales rippling across visible skin as she controlled the partial shift. Some theorists suggest connections to ancient myths of actual dragons. In my world, dragons definitely exist, Goku confirmed. Shenron and other eternal dragons possess energy signatures unlike normal creatures. Your quirk might have more cosmic connections than you realize. After key basics, Naruto led sessions on chakra principles, explaining the balance of physical and spiritual energies, demonstrating hand signs, and showing how different configurations created various effects. Though neither Deku nor Ryukyu could actually manipulate chakra, understanding its principles provided insights into their own capabilities. Chakra control reminds me of how I regulate one for all through my body, Deku noted, watching Naruto's demonstration. Directing power percentage to specific areas while maintaining overall stability. Hand signs are like support items in our world, Ryukyu observed. Physical tools that help focus and direct innate power. Finally, Deku explained quirk fundamentals, how genetic mutations created specialized abilities, the limitations of single quirk expression, and training methods for maximizing predetermined capabilities. So unlike ki or chakra, you can't learn new quirks. Goku summarized, you're born with specific abilities and get better at using them. With rare exceptions like my quirk, one for all, which can be transferred, Deku confirmed. But generally, yes, heroes train to optimize their genetic potential rather than acquiring new powers. Makes you guys even more impressive, Naruto commented sincerely. In our world, ninja can learn hundreds of different jutsu. You have to make one ability solve every problem. Ryukyu nodded appreciatively. Professional heroism emphasizes creative application of limited tools, finding versatility within constraints. As their training session concluded, all four demonstrated noticeable progress. Naruto successfully manipulated pure ki alongside his chakra for a briefly sustained moment. Deku applied chakra control principles to achieve more precise one-for-all distribution. Ryukyu integrated ki sensing into her transformation to maintain greater awareness in dragon form. And Goku gained insights into structured energy application that refined his usually instinctive approach. This is just the beginning, Deku enthused as they cooled down. Imagine what we could accomplish with extended cross-dimensional training. Goku nodded, genuinely impressed by everyone's progress. You guys pick things up fast. Took me years to master some of these basics. We're building on established foundations. Ryukyu pointed out modestly. Your pioneering work with ki-created principles we can now adapt, just as ninja developed chakra systems over centuries. Naruto stretched, yawning widely. All this interdimensional stuff makes me hungry. Do you guys have ramen in this world? Deku laughed. We definitely have ramen. Several excellent shops within walking distance, in fact. Then what are we waiting for? Goku perked up instantly at the mention of food. Training always works up an appetite. As they prepared to leave, facility alarms suddenly blared, not the urgent battle station signal but a monitoring alert indicating new data. Screens throughout the complex displayed energy pattern shifts across all three connected dimensions. Status report. Deku called to the operations center as they rushed to investigate. A technician responded immediately. Dimensional resonance patterns shifting globally, sir. The energy chronos extracted is being implemented across convergence points. Main screens displayed world maps from all three dimensions, convergence zones highlighted in pulsing purple. Previously scattered points now showed coordinate D pattern shifts, forming identical geometric configurations across all three realities. He's aligning the convergence points, Ryukyu analyzed, studying the forming patterns. creating harmonic resonance between specific locations in each dimension. Naruto pointed to where Konoha appeared on the ninja world map, now surrounded by pulsing energy. The village is at one of the focal points, as is Capsule Corporation in our world. Goku noted with concern, recognizing the pattern around West City. And Ua Academy here, Deku completed grimly. All three anchoring sites for our dimensional bridge. Nezu joined them, his usual composed demeanor showing rare tension. Chronos is using your energy signatures to target locations where dimensional barriers are already weakened by our own transit system. He's piggybacking on our bridges between worlds, Ryukyu translated, accelerating convergence through paths we ourselves created. Goku's expression hardened with rare seriousness. So our efforts to work together actually helped him. Not necessarily, Deku countered, mind racing through implications. These connections would have formed eventually. Our controlled bridges I actually provide stabilization points we can leverage. Naruto studied the pulsing patterns with uncharacteristic focus. Those formations look like ceiling arrays, similar to what Jinchuriki containment uses. He's creating some kind of massive seal across all three worlds. Dimensional containment architecture, Nezu confirmed, impressed by Naruto's insight. Chronos isn't simply destroying barriers, he's creating a controlled merger environment. Technicians reported simultaneous energy spikes at all primary convergence points, though no physical manifestations appeared yet. Data Sugas. TED preliminary calibration rather than immediate activation. We have time, Ryukyu concluded after reviewing readings. Hours at minimum, possibly days before full implementation. Then we stick to our plan, Goku decided firmly. Keep training together, develop our counter trap, and prepare to face Chronos when he returns. Deku nodded agreement, and we accelerate development of integrated combat techniques. If Chronos can use our combined energy signatures, we need to create our own combinations he won't anticipate. As emergency protocols engaged throughout the facility, Goku found himself standing beside Ryukyu at the monitoring station. Her calm competence amid crisis impressed him, reminiscent of Android 21's scientific focus but balanced with a warrior's pragmatism he found immediately relatable. Your world handles emergencies very systematically, he observed. In mine, things usually get chaotic pretty quickly. Professional heroism requires structured response protocols, she explained. Though a small smile softened her formal tone. Though I admit, sometimes I envy the freedom fighters in your world seem to enjoy. Freedom has its downsides too, Goku admitted. Watching teams mobilize with impressive efficiency. Sometimes having a good system helps more people in the end. She studied him with newfound appreciation. You're more thoughtful than dimensional records suggested, Son Goku. He laughed, rubbing the back of his head. Don't tell anyone. Might ruin my reputation as a battle-crazy Saiyan. Their moment of connection was interrupted as Deku called them to an emergency planning session. As they walked together, Goku realized this assignment from Zeno was becoming far more complex than he'd anticipated, not just in terms of the dimensional threat, but in the connections forming between worlds and people never meant to meet. For someone who'd spent his life seeking stronger opponents and greater challenges, these new dimensions offered something beyond merely powerful adversaries. They presented entirely new approaches to power itself, and people whose perspectives expanded his own understanding in unexpected ways. While emergency response teams monitored dimensional fluctuations, the four-dimensional anchors, as they'd become collectively known, relocated to a specialized training facility designed for quirk-enforced chamber. Could withstand catastrophic power releases while containing energy signatures that might otherwise alert Chronos to their activities. Integration training requires controlled environment, Deku explained as massive doors sealed behind them. This facility was designed for testing potentially destructive quirk applications without collateral damage. Naruto whistled appreciatively at the cavern. Out space. Walls reinforced with energy-absorbing materials, monitoring systems tracking every fluctuation in temperature and pressure, and training aids ranging from basic targets to advanced combat simulators. Fancy. Makes the Leafs training grounds look pretty basic. Different worlds, different resources, Ryukyu noted diplomatically. Though I imagine ninja training facilities prioritize different parameters than hero development centers. Goku immediately gravitated toward the open central area, combat instincts assessing the space's potential. This is perfect for what I'm thinking. Let's start with practical application, seeing how our different energies interact when used simultaneously. Deku produced a tablet, already documenting baseline readings. I've established meant protocols for all three energy types. We should begin with individual baseline demonstrations, then progress to paired combinations before attempting full integration. Always with the plans, Naruto teased good-naturedly. Let me show you how ninja approach new techniques, learn by doing. Without further preamble, he formed familiar hand signs. Shadow Clone Jutsu. 20 perfect duplicates appeared, each solid and independently functional, a technique that still fascinated their hero world hosts despite previous demonstrations. Chakra division maintaining consistent consciousness. Distribution across multiple physical manifestations, Deku muttered, recording observations. Efficiency ratio approximately 400% higher than any documented quirk with similar function. Goku approached one clone, examining it with experienced eyes. These are different from after images or speed duplicates. They're actual separate bodies, right? Each clone is physically real, Naruto confirmed. As his duplicates demonstrated independent movement. They have my abilities but diminished power depending on how many I create. And when they dispel, one clone disappeared in a puff of smoke. I get their experiences and memories back. Tactical applications are extraordinary, Ryukyu observed professionally. Simultaneous reconnaissance, training acceleration, distributed combat pressure. My turn, Goku decided. Moving to center stage, with casual ease, golden energy erupted around him as he transformed to Super Saiyan, the familiar aura illuminating the chamber with pulsing light. Monitoring systems immediately registered massive power fluctuations, sensors recalibrating to accommodate readings beyond their designed parameters. Deku's eyes widened as he recorded the transformation's energy signature. Exponential amplification without corresponding physical mass increase. He exclaimed, scientific enthusiasm overriding professional demeanor. Your cellular structure remains consistent while energy output multiplies by approximately 50 times baseline. Goku chuckled at his excitement. This is just regular Super Saiyan. Want to see blue? Before Deku could respond, likely affirmatively based on his expression, Ryukyu stepped forward. Perhaps we should establish all baselines before proceeding to higher transformations. The monitoring systems need calibratio and adjustments after just your initial form. Fair enough, Goku acknowledged, maintaining his golden-haired state while gesturing to Deku. Your turn, kid, the young hero nodded, centering himself. Before green lightning crackled to life around his form, the visible manifestation of One for All activating. Unlike Goku's transformation, Deku's power visibly flowed through specific pathways in his body. Concentrating in areas he actively channeled it toward. One for All at 45% distribution, he reported clinically, though excitement remained evident in his voice. Full cowling configuration, with emphasis on balanced output rather than localized concentration. Naruto studied the green energy with fascination. It looks kind of like lightning release chakra, but it moves differently, more like it's part of you instead of something you're creating. Apt observation, Deku confirmed. One for All literally modified my DNA when transferred. It's biologically integrated rather than externally manifested. Finally, Ryukyu demonstrated her quirk, transformation flowing smoothly from human to draconic form. Unlike the instant changes of Super Saiyan or the activation pulse of One for All. Her transformation progressed in flowing stages, skin hardening to scales, limbs elongating and reconfiguring, face restructuring into draconic features before completing into full dragon form. A markable conservation of mass despite apparent volume increase, Deku noted, scanners recording the process. Quantum compression of molecular structure rather than actual mass generation. The drag, on that was Ryukyu inclined her head in confirmation, unable to speak in this form but clearly understanding their observations. With baselines established, they progressed to the experimental phase, attempting to combine different energy systems in controlled applications. Naruto focused on integrating key principles into his chakra manipulation, while Deku explored potential resonance between One for All and chakra control techniques. Goku and Ryukyu, meanwhile, discovered fascinating interactions between Saiyan transformation energy and dragon quirk manifestation. Try channeling ki through your transformation pathway, Goku suggested as Ryukyu maintained partial dragon form, human shape with scaled skin and elongated features. Your quirk already changes your energy flow similar to how Super Saiyan redirects ki. Following his guidance, she focused inward, connecting with the unfamiliar warmth of ki alongside her quirk's familiar power. For a brief moment, her scales gleamed with golden light, not just reflecting Goku's aura but generating their own luminescence. That's it, Goku encouraged, genuine excitement in his voice. You're actually channeling ki through your quirk. Across the chamber, Naruto shouted triumphantly as one clone successfully formed a Rasengan incorporating swirling ki alongside chakra, the normally blue-white sphere now threaded with golden energy that enhanced its stability and power. Got it. It's like adding a second layer that reinforces the first. Deku, meanwhile, made his own breakthrough, applying chakra control principles to one-for-all distribution. Achieving finer precision than his previous percentage-based approach allowed. Green lightning still crackled around him, but now with visible pattern structure reminiscent of chakra flow networks. Integrated energy control achieved at approximately 17% efficiency, he reported, barely containing his excitement. Significant improvement over previous distribution methods. For hours they trained, pushing boundaries between their different power systems and discovering unexpected synergies. Progress came unevenly. Some combinations proved immediately compatible while others resisted integration, but each successful experiment built foundation for further development. As they took a brief rest period, Goku found himself genuinely impressed by everyone's progress. You're all learning faster than I expected. Took me years to master some of these techniques. We have extraordinary motivation, Ryukyu noted, sipping water while cooling down from her partially integrated transformation. Interdimensional threat creates accelerated learning conditions. Plus we're building on established principles rather than discovering them, Deku added thoughtfully. Each of RWORLDs developed distinct approaches to energy manipulation that now cross-pollinate. Naruto collapsed dramatically on finally catching up with his boundless enthusiasm. I've gotta say, quirks and ki are pretty awesome. Different from chakra, but really cool in their own ways. As they rested, Goku found himself studying Ryukyu with growing interest. Her disciplined approach to power reminded him of Vegeta's careful control rather than his own typically intuitive style. Yet beneath her professional exterior, he sensed the same joy in pushing limits that drove his own training. Your dragon form has a lot more potential than you might realize, he commented. The way it channels energy has similarities to Saiyan Great Ape transformation, but with much better control. She regarded him with curious interest. Great Ape, Saiyans can transform into giant apes under full moon, he explained. Most lose control in that form, but with training, it becomes a power multiplier while maintaining consciousness. Your dragon form seems to have the benefits without the downsides. Fascinating comparison, she acknowledged. My quirk research never suggested connections to extraterrestrial transformation biology. Dimensional bleeding might explain it, Deku theorized, ever ready with analysis. If information transfers between worlds occurred at genetic levels over generations, you mean Ryukyu might have distant Saiyan ancestry? Naruto asked, blinking at the concept. Not literally, Deku clarified, but dimensional resonance affecting evolutionary development across parallel worlds. Theoretically possible. Before they could explore this intriguing concept further, an alert sounded throughout the facility. Not the urgent battle station signal, but a scheduled notification. Dimensional anchor maintenance required, announced the automated system. Transit window recalibration in 30 minutes. Deku checked his communicator for details. Standard procedure. To maintain stable connections between worlds, the anchor points need periodic adjustment to prevent degradation. Is Android 21 handling the Konoha anchor? Goku asked, thinking of their colleague in the ninja dimension. According to reports, yes, Ryukyu confirmed. She and Lady Tsunade have successfully integrated chakra principles into the stabilization matrix, actually improving efficiency beyond our original design. Naruto grinned proudly. Grandma Tsunade's amazing with chakra control. Even if she pretends to hate technical stuff, she understands it better than almost anyone. As they prepared to resume training, A more urgent alert suddenly blared. This one the familiar battle station signal. Deku's communicator activated automatically, Principal Nezu's voice emerging with uncharacteristic tension. Team Deku, report to operations immediately. Dimensional incursion in progress, unprecedented scale and configuration. The four exchanged glances before moving as one toward the exit. Training session instantly forgotten as duty called. Within minutes they reached the operations center, finding controlled chaos as monitoring stations tracked massive energy spikes worldwide. Status report. Deku requested as they entered, professional hero mode fully engaged. Nezu approached, tablet displaying real-time data. Simultaneous dimensional rifts forming at 27 N global locations, all corresponding to convergence points chronos aligned using your energy signatures. The main display showed world maps from all three dimensions side by side, identical patterns of pulsing purple energy forming at mathematically precise intervals across each reality. The pattern is geometric, Ryukyu observed, studying the formation. Perfect equidistant spacing calibrated to planetary curvature. A structured dimensional net, Deku concluded, making the same observation. Not random attacks but calculated positioning. Goku studied the display with uncharacteristic seriousness. Is anything coming through the rifts yet? Negative, responded a technician. Energy buildup only. No entity manifestation detected. Naruto pointed to where familiar landmarks appeared on each dimensional map. The Hokage Monument in the Ninja World, Capsule Corp in Goku's dimension, and Ua Academy in the Hero World. The anchor points we're using to travel between worlds are at the center of the patterns on each map. Quote, Chronos is using our established connections as dimensional keystones, Nezu confirmed grimly. Our efforts to bridge worlds created perfect foundation points for his convergence architecture. Before anyone could respond to this troubling revelation, alarms intensified as new data appeared on monitoring screens. Energy readings spiked dramatically at a LL27 convergence points simultaneously across all three dimensions. Entity manifestation detected, announced the monitoring system. Harbinger-class signatures emerging at all convergence points. Screens shifted to live footage from hero teams worldwide, showing massive purple rifts tearing open at precisely calculated locations. From each emerged Harbinger entities, evolved beyond those they'd previously encountered. Each now bearing distinct characteristics apparently adapted for their specific locations. They're different from the ones we fought before, Naruto noted, watching footage of a water-adapted Harbinger emerging near oceanic coordinates. Specialized manifestations, Deku analyzed rapidly, each customized for environmental and tactical advantage at their deployment point. Goku's expression hardened with battle readiness. So where do we go? We can't fight at all 27 locations simultaneously. We don't need to, Ryukyu stated, studying pattern formation with strategic assessment. The geometric arrangement suggests a channeling function, energy from satellite points feeding into central nodes. Deku immediately grasped her meaning. The T-re-anchor points are primary convergence centers. These additional manifestations are powering something centered at our dimensional bridges. As if confirming his analysis, monitoring systems CTED massive energy buildup at all three-dimensional anchor locations, Konoha, Capsule Corp, and Ua Academy. Unlike the satellite convergence points, these central nodes showed no Harbinger manifestation yet. Only rapidly intensifying dimensional distortion. He's using the Harbingers to power something bigger at the center points, Goku concluded, already moving toward the exit. We need to get to UA's anchor immediately. Agreed, Nezu stated firmly. Team Deku will defend our anchor point. Simultaneously, we must alert your home dimensions to protect their respective centers. Android 21 and Tsunade are already at Konoha's anchor, Naruto reminded them. But Capsule Corp is defended by the Z fighters, Goku finished, though concern showed through his confident tone. But they don't know what they're facing yet. Ryukyu accessed communication systems, establishing connection through dimensional bridges. I'll coordinate cross-dimensional response while you move to engage the immediate threat here. Deku nodded appreciation before turning to Goku and Naruto. Let's move. Whatever's coming through at Ua is likely specifically designed to counter us as dimensional anchors. As they rushed toward transport vehicles, emergency protocols engaged throughout the facility. Hero teams mobilized worldwide to engage Harbinger manifestations at satellite points while Primar Y defense forces concentrated at the 3 central convergence nodes. Aboard the rapid response vehicle speeding toward UA Academy, Deku briefed them on tactical approaches. The Academy has been evacuated per dimensional threat protocols. Support heroes are establishing civilian exclusion zones while defense specialists prepare containment measures. So we can fight all out without worrying about people getting hurt. Goku summarized approvingly. That's good planning. Professional heroism prioritizes civilian safety above all else, Deku confirmed. Though property damage remains a secondary concern. Naruto grinned. In Konoha, we just rebuild whatever GETG fights. Happens pretty regularly. As they approached the Academy grounds, the scale of the dimensional disturbance became visible even without instruments. Reality itself warped around the central campus where the anchor point had been established, buildings distorting as physical laws fluctuated under interdimensional pressure. The distortion field extends approximately 400 meters from the anchor point, Deku assessed as their vehicle stopped at the perimeter established by support heroes. Significantly larger than previous manifestations. They disembarked, joining Endeavor who coordinated defense forces at the boundary. About time you arrived, the flame hero growled, professional terseness masking evident concern. The distortion prevents close approach, conventional matter destabilizes beyond this point. Goku studied the shimmering barrier where reality itself seemed to ripple like heat waves over desert sand. I've seen something like this before when we fought Janemba. Reality warping that changes physical laws inside the affected area. Can we penetrate it safely? Deku asked, already analyzing potential entry vectors. With proper energy protection, yes, Goku confirmed. Super Saiyan Blue involves divine ki that exists partially outside normal physical laws. It should provide some protection against reality distortion. Naruto focused his senses, Sage mode activating as he gathered natural energy to enhance perception. I can feel something forming inside, not just distortion, but an actual entity taking shape. Something big. Chronos. Deku questioned, preparing one for all for maximum output. No. Different signature, Naruto replied, concentration evident on his features. More. Distributed. Like many smaller things forming one bigger thing. Goku's expression grew serious as he felt the emerging power. Whatever it is, we need to stop it before it fully manifests. Ready. At their determined nods, he transformed directly to Super Saiyan Blue, divine ki radiating in brilliant azure waves. Stay close to me. My energy should help stabilize the area immediately around us. Naruto activated his Nine Tails chakra mode, golden energy forming a protective cloak around his body that resonated harmonically with Goku's divine ki. Deku pushed one for all to maximum safe output. Green lightning intensifying to unprecedented levels as he applied their recent training to stabilize his energy pattern. Together, the three-dimensional anchors approached. The reality distortion barrier, three distinct energy types synchronized through their shared purpose. Where their combined power touched the barrier, reality stabilized temporarily, creating a path forward into the distortion field. It's working, Deku confirmed, monitoring their progress. Our combined energy signatures are neutralizing the dimensional distortion. Because we're the keys it's designed around. Goku realized as they advanced. Chronos used our energy to create this, so our energy can counter it. They pressed forward into increasingly unstable reality, buildings stretched and compressed in impossible configurations, gravity fluctuated unpredictably, and light itself behaved according to alien physics. At the center of the distortion field stood what had once been UA's main building. Now transformed into a twisted structure that resembled no earthly architecture. The anchor point is inside, Deku reported, referring to the dimensional bridge technology they'd established. Whatever's manifesting is using it as an entry vector. As they approached the transformed building, the dimensional distortion suddenly intensified. Reality shuddered around them as Summit. Hing Massive began taking definitive shape within the structure, multiple energy signatures merging into a cohesive pattern unlike anything they'd previously encountered. That's not a harbinger, Naruto warned. Sage senses detecting the emerging entity's true nature. It's something much worse. The building's transformed structure suddenly shattered outward as the manifesting entity completed its emergence. What stood before them defied conventional description, a being composed of elements from all three dimensions fused into impossible configuration. Parts resembled shadow entities, while others incorporated mechanical components reminiscent of advanced technology. Throughout its massive form, energy patterns from all three worlds flowed in chaotic harmony, chakra networks, key pathways, and quirk manifestations somehow functioning together in one impossible entity. Convergence Titan, Deku whispered, giving name to the abomination before them. A physical manifestation of dimensional merger. The Titan towered 3 stories tall, its form constantly shifting as reality itself struggled to accommodate its contradictory existence. Multiple eyes formed across its surface, some human, others distinctly not, all fixing upon the 3-dimensional anchors with immediate recognition. Primary targets acquired, it announced in a voice that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. Dimensional anchor capture protocol initiated. I'm guessing that's bad, Goku commented, settling into his fighting stance. Let's not get captured, then. The Titan moved with surprising speed for its massive size. Multiple limbs extending toward them from impossible angles, some stretching through distorted space to attack from directions that shouldn't have been physically possible. Deku reacted first, analytical mind quickly processing the Titan's non-Euclidean movement patterns. Conventional directional defense ineffective. Establish energy perimeter. Understanding immediately. Goku and Naruto channeled their respective powers outward, creating a spherical barrier of combined energy, divine ki, Nine-Tails chakra, and one for all lightning forming layers of protection against the Titan's multidimensional assault. Limbs impacted their barrier from multiple vectors simultaneously, some seemingly passing through folded space to bypass conventional distance. Here they touched the combined energy field. Reality itself hissed and sparked as contradictory physics systems interacted. Its attack pattern incorporates dimensional shortcuts, Deku analyzed rapidly. It's not just moving fast, it's literally bypassing normal space. Then we need to stop thinking in normal space too, Goku realized, divine awareness expanding beyond conventional perception. Follow my lead. Without warning, he grabbed both younger fighters and activated instant transmission. Not to relocate in conventional space, but to shift their relative dimensional positioning within the distorted reality field. They reappeared behind the Titan, but in a way that confused normal spatial relationships, existing simultaneously in positions that conventional physics would consider contradictory. Whoa, Naruto exclaimed, disoriented by the unusual transit. That felt nothing like regular teleportation. We're moving through the distortion itself, Goku explained quickly. You see. Its own dimensional warping against it. The Titan turned, or seemed to turn, its multidimensional nature making conventional directional terms inadequate, multiple limbs reconfiguring to address the new threat vector. Dimensional transit detected. Recalibrating capture parameters. Hit it now, while it's adjusting. Goku instructed, already gathering energy between his palms. Kamehameha. Massive Rasengan. Naruto formed his spiraling chakra sphere, enhanced with Nine-Tails energy. Oklahoma Smash. Deku channeled one for all into a devastating punch. 3 attacks from 3 different dimensional energy systems struck simultaneously. Blue Ki Beam, spiraling chakra sphere, and concussive force wave all converging on the Titan from angles that shouldn't have been geometrically possible within normal space. The combined assault connected with catastrophic impact. Reality itself shuddering as contradictory physics interactions created cascade effects throughout the distortion field. Harm disintegrated under the combined assault, interdimensional matter returning to energy state as its cohesion failed. It worked, Naruto exclaimed as approximately 1/3 of the Titan's mass dispersed into chaotic energy. Partial success, Deku corrected, already analyzing the entity's response. Look, the remaining mass reconfigured rapidly, drawing energy from the surrounding distortion field to regenerate lost portions. Within seconds, the Titan stood reconstituted, though its form had evolved, now incorporating defensive adaptations specifically designed to counter their combined attack pattern. Dimensional anchor attack patterns analyzed. Countermeasures deployed. It's learning from everything we do, Deku realized with growing concern. Each attack provides data it uses to evolve. Goku's expression hardened with determination rather than discouragement. Then we need to hit it with something it can't adapt to, something combining all our powers in a way even we haven't tried yet. The Titan launched its counter-offensive, dozens of appendages attacking simultaneously while reality warped around them, some attacks seemingly originating from their own shadows. Others emerging from spatial pockets that hadn't existed moments before. Naruto created shadow clones that intercepted many attacks, each clone dispersing on impact but buying precious seconds. Deku applied his analytical mind to predicting attack vectors despite their non-Euclidean nature, calling out warnings that allowed them to avoid the most dangerous strikes. Goku utilized instant transmission repeatedly, relocating them through dimensional shortcuts that kept them ahead of the Titan's increasingly coordinated assault. "We can't keep this up forever," Naruto warned as another wave of clones dispersed under overwhelming attacks. "That thing has unlimited energy as long as the distortion field remains active." The anchor point, Deku suddenly realized, eyes widening with insight. "It's using our dimensional bridge as both manifestation vector and power source." Goku immediately understood the implications. "So if we destroy the anchor, we cut off its connection. And potentially trap ourselves in this dimension," Deku reminded them grimly. "Without the anchor, we lose our way home." Before they could debate further, the Titan's attacks intensified. New appendages formed, these incorporating elements clearly derived from their own abilities. Tentacles channeling corrupted one-for-all energy, limbs utilizing perverted shadow clone principles, and attacks mimicry. Key techniques all converged in overwhelming coordination. "It's copying us now," Naruto shouted as they narrowly avoided a corrupted Rasengan-like attack that devoured reality itself where it impacted. "Not perfectly," Goku noted, countering a twisted version of his own Kamehameha with the genuine article. "The copies have power but lack proper control." Deku analyzed the situation with Rima. "Our cable clarity despite the chaos surrounding them. The corruption appears in the integration. It can duplicate individual techniques but struggles with harmonizing different energy systems. That's our advantage," Goku realized. "We need to combine our powers in a way it can't copy, not just using them simultaneously, but actually integrating them at the fundamental level. The training we were doing earlier." Naruto understood immediately, "but we barely scratched the surface of true integration. No choice but to figure it out now," Goku decided, determination evident as he deflected another wave of attacks. "I'll create an opening for us to try something." Without waiting for response, he pushed beyond Super Saiyan Blue, drawing on Ultra Instinct techniques without fully transforming. His movements became fluid perfection, body responding to attacks before conscious thought could process them. With this heightened state, he carved a path through the Titan's defenses, creating momentary respite from its relentless assault. "Now, join your energy with mine," he called to his companions. "Don't just add your power, merge it completely." Understanding what he attempted despite its unprecedented nature, Deku and Naruto moved to his position. The three stood back to back in triangular formation, each channeling their respective energies to maximum output. "Visualize your power flowing into a shared center point," Goku instructed, divine ki radiating from his form. Not just touching, but becoming something new. Naruto's Nine Tails chakra mode intensified, golden energy with distinctive patterns flowing outward to meet Goku's azure ki. Deku pushed one for all beyond safe limits, green lightning arcing from his body to join the merging energies. Where the three powers met, something unprecedented occurred. Not just combination but true synthesis. A sphere of entirely new energy formed between them, not gold, blue, or green, but a pearlescent white that contained elements of all three yet transcended their individual properties. Reality itself seemed to recognize this new energy, dimensional distortion stabilizing in its presence rather than fragmenting further. "It's working," Deku exclaimed, feeling one for all resonating with the other energy systems in ways his analytical mind had theorized but never thought possible. The Titan immediately recognized the threat this new energy represented, all attacks redirecting toward this unprecedented manifestation. Anomalous energy pattern detected. Priority threat assessment. Neutralize immediately. Too late, Goku stated with confident determination. This is something even Chronos didn't predict. The sphere of integrated energy expanded rapidly, encompassing the three fighters in harmonized resonance. Within this field, their individual powers didn't just cooperate but functionally merged. Naruto's chakra constructs incorporated ki stabilization, Deku's One for All flowed through chakra pathways for precision distribution. And Goku's Divine Ki gained structured application through quirk-like manifestation patterns. I can feel both your powers as if they're my own, Naruto marveled, experiencing Ki and quirk energy flowing alongside his familiar chakra. Complete dimensional anchor integration, Deku analyzed, scientific mind still functioning despite the overwhelming sensory experience. We're creating a localized dimensional harmony field. The Titan launched everything at their merged energy sphere, corrupted techniques, reality warping attacks, and brute dimensional force. All converging on this existential threat to its purpose. Each attack dissipated harmlessly against their integrated energy, perfect balance between the three systems creating natural immunity to the Titan's corrupted approximations. Time to end this, Goku decided, instinctively understanding how to direct their merged power. Everyone focus on the anchor point inside that building. As one, he directed the integrated energy toward the dimensional bridge at the distortion's center, the technology that both connected worlds and inadvertently powered the Titan's manifestation. Their merged consciousness understood exactly how to target the corruption while preserving the bridge's core functionality. The pearlescent energy lanced forward with perfect precision, bypassing the Titan's defenses through dimensional harmonics it couldn't predict or counter. Where this purified power touched corrupted systems, restoration rather than destruction occurred, reality reknitting itself as three distinct dimensional frequencies found perfect temporary alignment. The Titan roared in multi-tonal frustration as its power source underwent fundamental recalibration. Its form began destabilizing, corrupted integration breaking down as proper dimensional boundaries reasserted themselves within the energy field. Convergence protocols compromised, dimensional integrity violations detected, emergency withdrawal initiated. With a final reality-shaking implosion, the Titan's form collapsed entirely, not destroyed but forcibly withdrawn as its misses failed. The distortion field receded rapidly, normal physics reasserting throughout the affected area as buildings, grounds, and air itself returned to proper configuration. The three fighters remained standing in triangular formation, the pearlescent energy sphere gradually dissipating as the immediate threat passed. Each felt the connection fading, their momentary perfect integration returning to separate systems as dimensional normativity reasserted itself. That was, Naruto began, struggling to find words for the experience. Unprecedented, Deku supplied, scientific mind already documenting what they'd achieved despite his exhaustion. Complete cross-dimensional energy integration without system degradation or harmonics interference. Pretty awesome, Goku concluded simply, grinning despite his evident fatigue. We should definitely practice that more. As reality stabilized completely around them, they surveyed the aftermath. UA's main building stood mostly intact despite its temporary transformation, the Dimensiona L anchor within apparently restored to normal functioning. Throughout the grounds, support heroes approached cautiously, scanners confirming the threat had truly departed. Ryukyu arrived first, having coordinated global response efforts from headquarters. Her expression showed both relief and professional assessment as she surveyed the outcome. Dimensional stabilization confirmed at all 27 convergence points worldwide. She reported, "Whatever you did here created resonance effects that disrupted the entire network simultaneously. We figured out how to really combine our powers," Naruto explained. Still buzzing with residual energy from the experience. Not just using them together, but making them into something completely new. Deku was already documenting the phenomenon, fingers flying across his tablet. Preliminary analysis suggests we created a perfectly harmonized dimensional frequency, essentially becoming living dimensional anchors that corrected disrupted physics locally. The implications are significant, Ryukyu acknowledged, understanding immediately. If dimensional anchors can actively counter convergence effects rather than merely resisting them, we might have a real way to fight Chronos directly. Goku finished, unusual seriousness in his tone. Hit him with something even he doesn't fully understand. As response teams secured the area and recovery operations began, communications from other dimensions confirmed similar outcomes. The Harbinger manifestations had withdrawn simultaneously across all three worlds once the Titans at central nodes were defeated. Android 21 and Tsunade successfully defended Konoha's anchor point, Ryukyu reported, reviewing incoming data. And your allies at Capsule Corporation managed to protect your world's node as well. I knew they would, Goku stated with confident pride in his friends. The Z fighters have handled worse. Deku coordinated with recovery teams while continuing to document their unprecedented energy integration. We need to develop this technique further, establish reliable activation parameters and sustainable duration metrics. Always the scientist, Naruto teased good-naturedly, though his own expression showed understanding of the achievement's importance. But he's right, if we can do this consistently, it changes everything about how we fight Chronos. As cleanup operations continued around them, Goku found himself watching Ryukyu coordinate teams with impressive efficiency. Despite not participating directly in their dimensional integration, her strategy, C coordination had ensured global response effectiveness that undoubtedly saved countless lives. When operations stabilized enough for a brief respite, she approached him with professional assessment. Your leadership during the crisis was instrumental to success. Despite our world's different approaches to combat, you adapted remarkably well to our tactical frameworks. I just did what felt right, Goku replied with characteristic modesty. Deku and Naruto did the hard part, figuring out how to make our powers work together. You undersell your contribution, she countered with perceptive insight. Your instinctive understanding of dimensional energy provided the foundation for their technical innovations. Before Goku could respond, Nezu arrived via transport vehicle, immediately gathering them for debriefing. Congratulations on averting catastrophic dimensional collapse, the principal began, getting straight to business. But our victory appears temporary. Monitoring stations detect accelerated recalibration at remaining convergence points. Chronos is adapting his approach, Deku theorized, reviewing data on his tablet. The Titan's withdrawal wasn't defeat but strategic reassessment. Indeed, Nezu confirmed grimly. Intelligence suggests this was merely one phase in a multi-stage convergence acceleration protocol. We've disrupted the current implementation but not the underlying architecture. So we won the battle but not the war, Naruto summarized pragmatically. What's our next move? Continue developing your integrated combat capabilities, Nezu instructed without hesitation. The harmonized energy you manifested represents our most promising counter to Chronos' dimensional manipulation. Goku nodded agreement, and we need to take the fight to him instead of just defending. Find where he's hiding between dimensions and draw him out. Precisely my thinking, Nezu confirmed with approval. Which is why I've authorized Phase 2 of our cross-dimensional initiative. At their questioning looks, the principal elaborated. Until now, we've focused on establishing stable connections between our three worlds. The next phase involves creating a targeted bridge to the space between dimensions, Chronos' domain. You want us to literally enter the space between realities? Deku questioned, scientific mind immediately calculating possibilities. The physical laws governing such regions remain entirely theoretical, which is why we need dimensional anchors whose combined energies can establish localized physics parameters, Nezu explained. Your integrated power demonstrated today proves the concept viable. The implications settled over the group, not just defending their respective worlds, but actively pursuing Chronos into AR. EALM where conventional reality itself couldn't be taken for granted. When do we start? Goku asked with characteristic enthusiasm for new challenges, regardless of their danger. Immediately, Nezu replied without hesitation. Our scientists are already recalibrating the dimensional bridges based on data from today's integration event. We estimate 48 hours until a viable interdimensional transit vector can be established. Ryukyu stepped forward, professional assessment evident in her stance. The team composition requires adjustment for interdimensional operations. I request assignment to the direct action team. Nezu considered briefly before nodding agreement. Granted. Your quirk's dimensional resonance patterns show unusual stability during reality fluctuations. You'll join the primary strike team alongside our three anchors. As the meeting concluded with assignment of preparation tasks, Goku found himself genuinely excited despite the gravity of their situation. The prospect of entering entirely new dimensional space, fighting in a realm where reality itself operated differently, represented exactly the kind of challenge he lived for. More surprisingly, he realized he'd come to value the connections forming with these people from different worlds. Deku's analytical brilliance combined with wholehearted heroism, Naruto's boundless determination and innovative adaptability, and Ryukyu's disciplined power and strategic mind, all offered perspectives that expanded his own understanding of strength beyond mere fighting capability. When Zeno had assigned him this mission, Goku had viewed it primarily as another battle against a cosmic threat. Now, as three woke him in danger, he recognized something more significant developing: bonds that transcended dimensi, onal boundaries, and promised evolution beyond what any single world could achieve alone. The convergence Chronos sought represented catastrophic collapse of distinct realities. But perhaps a different kind of convergence, controlled, respectful integration that preserved uniqueness while enabling growth, might represent the multiverse's true potential. For a warrior who had spent his life seeking ever greater challenges, this realization represented perhaps the most profound evolution yet. Chapter 2 End. The end. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next video.